think I'm in need of a quiet walk home. And as we step forward, we would rather be alone. So make some noise while you've got time. Take this poison for your mind. Who knows, you could be gone by this time tomorrow. And
Hello guys and welcome back to the South African Gigabyte Dota 2 challenge. We are in the main event finals, the grand finals, the main finals, the finals, however you want to say it. That's right now. It's Carbon versus Bravado. I mean, we saw this during the winner bracket yesterday. It was sort of a stomp coming through from Bravado. Carbon not completely playing according to their strength. But this is a best out of 5, 0 game advantage. Halbert, well, I'm Reddit's joining me as Halbert right now. Prophecy unfortunately could not make the finals. So my trusted co-caster, Halbert, how you doing, bud?
Hey man, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. Carbon have quite a lot of work to do if they want to unsettle the pretty much tyrants of South African gaming that Bravado are. They are so strong. But, you know, what better place to do so than in a grand final event with quite a bit of cash on the line.
I know the percentage odds here are Bravado 77 to Carbon's 23. I mean, it's $2,000 in cold hard cash up for grabs here. Carbon has to come with something different because Bravado stomped them yesterday, and Scan can do it. Just look back 1 month ago, Carbon actually beat Bravado to take another competition here in South Africa. So we know they can do it, but there's always that mental game. You're playing up against Bravado, the strongest team in the country, and when Bravado played properly, I mean, yesterday they didn't dive too far. They played with composure. Donnie, aka Emily here, he played, he held back where normally you would just see him running crazy and doing crazy things. So let's see if Carbon can actually come back and can just recompose himself. They've come out of a grueling 3-game matchup versus Newbie to make it here. So they will be tired, mentally tired, physically tired, and drained a little bit. And moving into a best out of 5, that is why we have a 0 game advantage here. Bravado's got all the advantages they need because of the 3-game advantage, or the 3-game matchup that Carbon has just run into.
10 seconds remaining.
By the way, I wanted to touch on something you said there. Carbon, they've beaten Bravado in the past, as you mentioned, but Bravado don't actually play properly 90% of the time. I mean, that's a scary thing about this team is they normally rock up, troll around, and win anyways. And I realize that it's a kind of a weird advantage that Bravado have in this matchup because what is Bravado's actual playstyle? What is their actual game plan? What do they do when they're trying really seriously? So I'm interested to see how this game progresses. And another thing I'm going to be curious to see is we've seen the Bane being picked up by Carbon quite a bit. And I'm curious to know the sort of logic behind that. I mean, obviously Bane's not a vastly popular hero in today's day, and I wonder if it's something that Scant has figured out is, oh, this is a hero that is good against South African teams because they do a particular action that Bane is good at resolving.
5 seconds.
But I don't necessarily think that'll work against a side like Bravado, because Bravado, they play more like an international side. They're a lot more mechanically gifted than most of the South Africans they play against. So if they try the same sort of like traps that they use against South African teams, they may find themselves coming very, very short.
Definitely. Now, Carbon even first picked up the Bane yesterday. Always been picked up in the first phase, which is very interesting to me. I had a chat with Prophecy about that to say, well, is it really strong enough for a first pick hero? And sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. But let's jump straight into the bans right now. The Bounty Hunter was banned out, and Anti-Mage, I mean, we do see Raping Ninja playing that Anti-Mage quite often. I don't think he's on RDK's Anti-Mage level, but he's pretty damn close. Bounty Hunter, we've spoken about this on and on as to why he's banned out. I mean, Bravado used him yesterday. Even with the nerf on Bounty Hunter, he's still a strong hero. After that, the Spirit Breaker, Winter Wyvern, 3 out of the 4 most common heroes being banned out right now, but that is leaving the Tusk, the Lina, and the Earthshaker in the pool, and all 3 of them have been picked up. I'm very surprised to see Carbon going for the Clock instead of the Tusk here.
Well, you know, I think the way Scan tends to draft is he puts higher priorities on different heroes than the sort of basic heroes. I think it's very important that you understand your players and what they thrive with. So it's just likely a point where they think that they're a stronger Clockwork than they are a Tusk. So this early stage in the ban, it is really a place of securing high-valued heroes and, you know,
Reserve time.
trying to prevent your opponents from getting
That's
high-valued
very
heroes.
true.
So
Earthshaker rolling in with the Tusk is a very, very free blink, especially if you get shards off. But Clockwork can hook in, giving the Earthshaker time. I have to though say, Earthshaker being, I think, like the most banned hero so far in this tournament, most banned, almost picked, if I can put it that way. We saw clearly yesterday why the patience with good Earthshaker plays, even if you don't have Blink. But Lina Tusk combination, getting good shards off will always mean a 2+ hero stun coming through on the Lina, as well as the Dragon Slave, which will put 3 heroes down on half HP, going into that Laguna Blade. Well, Clock's going to engage, but he has to be very careful, because if he doesn't engage and then disengage straight away with a 4-staff, he'll most likely die from the Lina until he has his Blade Mail up, and well, then you have to try and prioritize. Do you go for Blade Mail or do you go for 4-staff? And in my opinion, well, you will need 4-staff because you'll need to engage, need to trap them, need to split them off, then you'll need to get out of there as quickly as possible.
Radiant team.
oh, I mean, there's a lot of good value in the likes of a 4-star coming up on the sports for both these sides. So, you know, wouldn't be too surprised if it does tend to be the case. Let's chat a little bit about the bans. I mean, one of the things we saw in the previous patch was players really prioritizing getting rid of the sort of trifecta of Phantom Lancer, Anti-Mage, and Gyrocopter. I'm curious to see if any sort of love for the Gyro left at the moment. I mean, the patch has been... It's very new, so we're not too sure what still thrives and what doesn't. So the Gyro's been getting what seems to be a little bit less love this time around.
Yeah, it's only one extra damage reduction on the Rocket Barrage, and cooldown slow no longer pierces spell immunity. Now that is the your cooldown always used to slow if you had a BKB on. Now it doesn't. So that's why Gyro will fall off quite a bit regarding that. But the one hero we have been seeing is Spectre. Now, if you don't shut down the Spectre, for example, there's a Clockwork right now. So you might see Bravado picking up the Spectre because you know that they won't be going aggro up against you. And the Spectre, the big change on the Spectre is, let's just say you have a Vanguard. It will return the damage before the damage reduction takes place and is given to you. So you Blade me, it returns the percentage of damage, then the reduction comes into play, and then I take reduced damage on the Spectre, and that is such a big change. If you can give the Spectre only 20 minutes of farm up until you can get that, Vanguard Radiance up, just does so much. And it also returns the same damage type. So you get 10, you get people hitting you, casting spells, pure, magical, physical. just a conglomerate of damage being returned everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's a little bit weird though, right? I mean, Spectre before essentially functioned the same way he does now, in the sense that
10 seconds remaining.
get lots of farm on a Spectre and you're likely to win the game because, well, it disperses damage anyways. So even if you get a poor engagement, the chances are that you're still going to do a huge amount of damage to his opponents anyways. Now, obviously he's now stronger, but I'm curious to see how it actually performs at the highest level. Because the major issue with Spectre is still the case that Spectre can't really deal with the laning phase well at all. It requires a lot of babysitting. And I think Dota at the moment is a very aggressive match. So I think for Carbon to pick up Bravado, I think they're going to get punished for it because Bravado do like to just dominate you in the laning phase.
I was actually saying Bravado should pick it up because, especially for that reason, Bravado tend to dominate you in the laning phase. Prophecy brought up a very interesting point in regard to this. The tri-core with Seam, Raping Ninja, and Donnie just seem to, they will always win those lanes. Even your off lane will at least trade evenly or, do a lot of damage. So it always gives Raping Ninja the space he needs because they have to try and contend with two other lanes. And if they try and take on Raping Ninja, they lose two lanes completely and lose their towers. And Prophecy said nearly any proper carry in South Africa can take the place of Raping Ninja. Because of that fact, nothing against Raping Ninja as a player, but it's just because of the way Bravado function. And Raping Ninja is a fear type of, well, we actually see the Garo. Raping Ninja is a fear type of player, like fear, not as in scared, but fear as in the international player. He's very stable. He will always give you what you need. Sometimes he's flashy, but you can count on him. And that is Raping Ninja. And that is because his team just creates so much space. So I would not be surprised to see a Spectre coming from him, especially with Elena, Tusk, Witch Doctor. They're going to be roaming around. They're going to be putting on so much pressure. I think they will be able to give Raping Ninja enough space to just do whatever he needs.
Yeah, it's all valid, and I tend to agree. I think Bravado would certainly be the side that I would feel more comfortable picking up the Spectre.
Yes.
And I gotta say though, I think Rape Ninja, he gets a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a raw deal in a sense, but kind of difficult to play a one position when your 2 and 3 positions are killing people so fast, like, in such numbers. I mean, it's crazy, right? And then by the time you've farmed up items, their items are superior because they've just been killing everybody, and then you're like, oh, well, now I'll try keep up. So it'll be great to actually see what happens when there's a more even matchup where you see both Seam and Donnie having a little bit of a hard time and being pressured, but see what he can provide then. And maybe Carbon's the team to do it. I do think that Smacker, as an example, he's a really strong player. He was sort of, his prowess, if you will, from the early stage was built up on the fact that he was really, really good at last sitting and whatnot. So he's the kind of guy I think that could also put a little bit of pressure on the side of Bravado just by having some good farm and creating a little bit of worries as far as item progression goes. But certainly, same. Everything you said is totally fair, and
Windrunner is
we'll see
actually
if it plays out that way.
Windrunner is now picked up by the side of Bravado. Now, Windrunner has just risen to fame throughout this whole competition. I mean, she's being picked up mid. She's been picked up carry. RDK played probably the best Windrunner that I've ever seen in my life, taking on the entire side of WRG newbie, White Rabbit Gaming newbie, and dominating them solo with a Windrunner. It was insane. That just goes to show Windrunner comes into favor for like a month or two, then just drops off. She isn't really buffed that much, nerfed that much. She's just like, it's like a heartbeat. It just pulses every now and then. She comes in, then she fades out. She comes in, then she fades out. And I really like the Windrunner pickup. You can, in this case, I think they'll be running Lina as support with the Witch Doctor. Windrunner will most likely be mid. And Windrunner can beat nearly anyone mid. That's the whole point. Windrunner can trade evenly with Lina, maybe even beat her. But who else can just dominate Windrunner? She has an escape, unless, of course, she's ganked. There should be no one that should be able to get a kill solo up on the Windrunner itself.
I must say I'm a big fan of Windranger myself. One of the big things for me as well is that Windranger is a very versatile pick. You can do so much with her. I mean, theoretically, she's played every position available in Dota. She's played offlane, she's played solo mid, she's played the one position, and of course she played support. So it's a hero that can move around a lot, makes it very versatile in any draft, which is great. I think probably the only problem with the support these days is just focus fire as an ultimate for a support is pretty underwhelming. But then again, on a core position, Wind Ranger, it's pretty devastating. I mean, cool.
Definitely. Dragonite was the last pick here for Carbon, of course. Bravado banning out the Templar Assassin. So, I mean, Templar Assassin is still an extremely strong mid-game hero. As soon as you get Desmond Blink up,
10 seconds.
you should be looking to dominate the entire mid-game and, start snowballing from there. And the Ember Spirit was also banned out now by Carbon, then followed by the Dragonite pickup. Now, this draft looks a lot better than yesterday's Carbon versus Bravado draft, I have to say.
I must say, it's a lot more. Jan tends to reach quite heavily with his picks. To me, this is quite a stable one. The Dragonite is an interesting one because we don't see a huge amount of him lately. But he's actually pretty good against some of the heroes on the side of Bravado, and the likes of Wind Range obviously dealing a lot of physical damage. Witch Doctor's ultimate is physical. It's really just Alina that's providing the huge amount of burst damage for the side of Bravado. So it's actually quite a solid pickup. My only issue with Dragonite though in general is that he takes up a slot where he's likely going to go mid, or I mean I think in this case it's almost certainly going to go middle, and he doesn't do a huge amount with his items. He's more interested in his levels and being sort of this tanky sort of creature. But if you put the same sort of items on other characters, they just seem to do a lot more with it. It may sound a bit unfair, but until 16, he's a bit of an underwhelming character, but he does have a lot of pushing potential, I guess. So it still work out for him in that regard.
It is Chosen One that is playing the Dragonite, so we might actually see a safe.
Thirty seconds to battle.
With thanks.
The battle begins.
Gold is a great conductor.
One can show me how it's done.
Yeah, well, let's quickly have a look at what Dragonite's patch was. Breathe Fire debuff duration increased from 8 to 11 seconds. So, but top lane though, Smacker is taking quite a bit of harassment here from Seam. I do like the dual lanes coming up. I mean, this is usually what Carbon is, known for. They are known for dual laning the whole time for, well, actually, hold on. LKR is taking a lot of damage here from Donny. We do see Carbon doing this dual lane, quite heavily, and actually going for example, and actually missing the fissure. But from the side of Bravado, I mean, Bravado likes going for this Witch Doctor and getting that early Maledict build up, not the healing build. So let's see if they do decide to do that as well.
Yeah, I think I feel a little bit bad for luck on this lane though towards the bottom. Donny is a nightmare to go up against in general. Now he's got support from, somebody occasionally by the name of Ferrari, who's also a monster in his own right. So could be a little bit of a struggle for him, but he's doing okay. I mean, level 3 already. He's essentially ahead of the Wind Ranger in the top lane, which is under a different scenario entirely, but pretty decent. And in fact, Scan's going to take a little bit of a smack from Habibi as he tried to block off the Fisher. I mean the Rune, I think. But was secured by Habibi, who's now looking towards middle lane. I think that it'll be a very difficult kill for them, even if they go for this, because, well, besides the fact that there's an Earthshaker hanging around, Dragon Knight is insanely tanky, but the presence always helps, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, it is going to be quite interesting to see how this mid lane develops, because Chosen One, of course, he's just going to get all of his, damage sapped, and I mean, Chosen's sitting on 4 and 3 versus 11 and 8 on this Razor. Top lane though, there's actually going to be the first blood going the way of Seam on Bravado, and Smacker might want more, but this double damage rune on the Witch Doctor was just doing so damn much.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to start out a defensive tri-lane. Especially one with heroes that are generally pretty good at securing kills in their own right. I mean, Witch Doctor's kind of the anti-fun, right, with the paralyzing cast, but still, you don't want to be dropping those kills. It obviously means an explosion of experience and gold for your opponents, and going to deny a little bit of free time for your sports and put a little more pressure on Smacker.
A little bit of dewarding coming through here from Dreamy, so he will actually get out the full sentry and the observer ward. And I mean, LKR here versus Emily or Donny. I mean, Donny is sitting at level 4. Lacro is also level 4, so the offlane is going at least okay for the. Oh wait, engagement here on the top lane. The stun's actually coming through. Does manage to catch off Seam. Seam's trying to run away, but the Hadouken comes through, and unfortunately, Scan actually drops from the. Now Seam's trying to deny himself. He's just busy dodging, and oh, Gareth Mates actually got the kill and another Hadouken. The creeps here just playing for the side of Bravado for some reason.
Did seem that way, right? I mean, those things really hurt early on. They did 125 damage and essentially almost got a kill for the Bravado squad, which they would have found hilarious but also very useful. And then obviously just actually like clever work by Seam. If he had just kept sort of running, he was always dead. So trying to soak up a little bit of damage from the actual creeps and actually get him out.
Something interesting to note, if you die from a neutral, the score count doesn't go up anymore. So if you suicide or you die, for example, if you're techies and you actually die, you just spawn Dragon Knight in mid lane. But suicide or denial to neutrals actually don't show up on the score on top.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, I guess that's how it should be, right? There should be like a neutral scoreboard. Or let's just call it what it is, right? A satire tormentor scoreboard. Top lane, there's some action here. We do see Donny actually getting into the fray here, but Smacker going to town at the moment with the rocket barrage. Fortunately, it's not enough damage to bring anybody down. I keep wondering, like, how much worse would it have been if there wasn't that nerf?
Well, it's a little bit extra, but I mean, the rocket barrage does do a lot. Still, quite interesting to see here that the Witch Doctor has been forced into the Voodoo Restoration. Normally, you just see the Witch Doctor from Bravado dominating, and then they'll just go into a Maledict build. This time, going for the points up in Voodoo Restoration, so not actually dominating as early on as they did in the previous matchup yesterday. And this looks more, this looks a lot more even. Problem though is this mid lane Chosen One only sitting on 14 versus 31 of Raping Ninja. I mean, you're literally sacking Chosen One at this point.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Although that the scoreboard looks good and there's levels coming out in both teams, the goal graph is actually 1.5k in favor of Bravado very free early on. And if it just keeps going like that, then you get these ridiculous scores where you just have Bravado overtaking your team just by a early 10-minute laning phase where they have got a couple of thousand up, core items up, and then their opponents become under huge pressure, and often is the case where they just fall apart at that point.
Okay, cool. Seems just asking to restart his router quickly. Seems like there's a little bit of delays coming through here. And from the side of, I mean, the level 6 on the clockwork is not up just yet. Smacker does not have his level 6. As soon as that, those two level 6s are up, we might actually see strong engagements or counter engagements coming through from the side of Carbon. And they might even try and bait a dive onto the tier 1 tower. We all know Bravado's a team that loves to dive. And they have a Wind Ranger, so maybe forcing out or actually getting shackled behind the tower with a few people hiding in this area right here. You can see on the minimap.
Yep.
Okay. And they're just a counter engagement. I mean, with a clockwork level 6, with a gyrocopter level 6, they might be able to force it and get a couple of pickoffs. And I think that might just be what they're going to do, because Bravado being a little bit too aggressive sometimes, although yesterday they were very calm. Well, we'll see. They won Carbon very easily yesterday, and it might just be in their heads that it's going to be an easy game. And if they go into this series like that, it's going to be Carbon that actually walks out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it scares me a little bit, where I almost go like, maybe. Like, that's how good Bravado are, right? The thing is, though, I think just, playstyle aside, Carbon's initiation is actually still pretty amazing, so they don't even need Bravado to dive. Obviously, with the long range engage with the Fisher and the Clockwork, it's certainly something they can use to their advantage. But even the Scarith Mage, I mean, he's got a long range in his spells, and once he's got that, Mystic Flare Up couples up really well with the Clockwork as well. They could be in a good position if they can shot a couple of Bravado players unaware and maybe a little bit of fright in them.
Let's have a quick look here. One thing that I'm very surprised with is I mean, I don't know if you know about the whole trick how to double stack the Dire. Oh, actually, how to do 2 double stacks on the Dire ancient on the Dire neutrals. So this one and this one right here. You attack this one at exactly what the hit has to come to at exactly 53. So you should at 52.5 as a range hero already throw your attack to this area. And then you run straight up here, and you should be able to get that attack at the 55.5, 56 second mark. Run straight off. Actually double stack both of these at the same time as a range hero.
Yeah, and obviously there's heroes that are particularly good at doing it. Some, get helped out by some sorts. Nothing. I mean, you can do it potentially with even the Clockwork here, with using the rocket, but he's
well, engagement here straight onto Smacker instantly, and Smacker uses his rocket barrage, uses a full magic stick, trying to turn around, going onto Emily. Emily or Donnie actually might drop from this one, but he had his 6 up, and unfortunately Dreamy, well, is he going to be able to get this kill? Just one more hit coming through needed, and yes, he's trying to dodge out versus Ferrari. Does he have a salve? He actually does have a salve. He's busy salving up right now. Will he actually be able to get this one? Is this silence going to be there? There's just not enough mana. Where is the support coming through from the side? Is this stun? Oh, actually does manage to get it out. But, well, Ferrari just walks out. Where's the support coming through from the side of Carbon? I mean, the Clockwork had 6. He had a hook shot. He had a TP. Dragon Knights, well, you don't really want your mid to come out, but the Earthshaker didn't have a TP. I just honestly think if there were supports coming in there, they probably could have killed 2 without losing any.
2 cores, so certainly would have been a valuable exchange. Unfortunately for them, I know the Clockwork, as you went in, I was actually looking at him because Lucko was taking a world of punishment from Scene as you connect with a shackle shot and had Habidi in support. Just managed to limp out of there. But I just like the casual sort of walk away from Ferrari. I'm just going to through this tango and get out of here, because initially I thought, wow, you're in trouble here. But making the right call at the right time, I guess.
No, definitely. And Haystrom being picked up now by Scant. Is he actually going to pick it up? I think he's just protecting it at this point. Oh, there he goes, picks it up, and LKR also. So the hookshot is up. We might see an engagement here onto Raping Ninja, or no?
Okay, top lane, sorry. Smacker getting into a lot of trouble here. Did drop ball down and has support. He might actually 2 for this. They do. Back drop 1. Dreamy still chasing after Emily, but the support's coming in there, and that's just overextending, and will be brought down in the end. So it is 2 for 1. Cooldown was used as well, so they got quite a bit of damage there. But it's just these trades just keep going in favor of Bravado at the moment, just always going a little bit ahead.
I'm not quite sure why the Skyrath Mage dove so far. Unfortunately, you should be able to see. Well, I can't see him, and there's 3 places to walk into. One's up, one's there, and one's down. the chances of you actually choosing the right one is very, very slim. So, well, Lacquer wants to go in on Seam right now. Is he going to be able to land the hook shot? Don't have any wards behind, so unfortunately not. Okay, I was just busy rotating around. He's trying to find something, and well, good movement here from Seam, actually helping out the guys farm up right now. Raping Ninja has a lot of stacks that he can go through right now.
Yeah, it's always nice as a when you get helped out, and obviously perfect hero to do so. The Lina will pretty much always bring it down very low and not actually finish the job, so the Lightning can just lap that up with Plasma. But I'm just taking a look around, see if there's anything interesting coming out at the moment. It's still a little bit early on, so most players pretty much just going stock standard. What I'm glad to see though is Scan's getting a little bit of alone time in the bottom lane, so you can just get some levels up. Already, when you get a Blink Dagger up on a Earthshake, it makes such a difference. And these little moments where you just get a free moment to farm, you should treasure them and just make sure you get every last hit and hope that you're one step closer to that Blink Dagger.
Hero might actually want to go onto BB right now. He uses his battery assault as well as his cogs, and he does have a hook shot to finish it off or even get out. A lot of TPs coming in from the side of Bravado, and that sort of actually just wasted up quite a bit. He also does manage to pick up the Illusion Rune, so he's just going to be able to run straight back in and steal quite a lot of experience, and even might decide to go on mid.
Yeah, he did a good job there. Actually, hang on to the hook shot made it quite a better trade than it could have been, and now he's still ready to rumble. Obviously, hook shot without Agnum Scepter has got a healthy cooldown, and he's really just stalking, wants something. And this is what I'm glad to see out of Carbon, just bring the fight to Bravado and not just sitting back and finding themselves behind, which is often the case.
Alcaro still has a little bit on his hook shot. Oh, he wanted to go for the hook shot. On my side, he's actually fading in and out, so you can actually see him sometimes. But going for that hook shot the whole time, dodging it, Emily or Donnie might actually be right in the range. So if they do decide to go on the Razor and he goes on to Donnie, that might just be terrible. Trying to push out the lanes, but it just... I don't think they'll actually be able to do anything. The hook shot actually did miss straight onto Raping Ninja. Raping Ninja, are they going to be able to go onto him? Alcaro is busy running away, and Scat is going to be the one to fall right now. Gyrocopter has come in with his ultimate. He actually uses his cooldown, but it's not actually latching onto anyone. Now Emily comes in. Donnie going in, actually managing to get a good eye shot off. Donnie has to be very careful. Is he going to be able to drop from this? No, it is going to be the Gyrocopter. Things just going from bad to worse here for the side of Carbon, and well, that's going to be 4 heroes down. The hook shot missing, and they still committed everything they had. I'm not quite sure that was the right choice.
And they really did commit everything, but the problem there was just, it was sort of coming one at a time. I mean, if the Gyrocopter was in there a lot earlier, the cooldown would have been really, really useful. Fortunately, they all just sort of, oh, okay, we're in this fight now. We're a little bit behind, but, you know, maybe we can still make something of it. And Bravado were just like, well, we'll accept your offerings.
And all of a sudden, after that team fight, Bravado leading with 5,000 net worth at 12 minutes in. It's not as bad as it could have been. It's a lot better than what Carbon played yesterday. So Carbon's still in this. They just have to try and choose their fights properly.
Bottom lane, Scant in trouble here. He gets caught up by Emily and Habibi and is absolutely melted. And poor guy.
Unfortunately, Scant not having that 6. It's, you know, up against a... It's very easy to... Well, middle lane, Raping Ninja, a lot of damage being done to him. But Alcaro missing a hook shot once again.
I gotta say, this is pretty uncharacteristic from him. I mean, to me, you know, and getting caught out just terribly. You're gonna get destroyed here. Snowball comes in as well for effect, but not even necessary. I was about to say, he's playing characters, or he's making some uncharacteristic mistakes this game. To me, Laka is one of the sort of premium sort of off-laners you can get in South Africa. And this game, he's just not shown it. I mean, he had a sort of a really cute pick-off on the Witch Doctor, but then missing 2 hook shots in succession, that hurts, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. Habibi and Donnie as well playing very aggressively. The wraparound is here from Seam, and you don't want to be right here up against a Wind Ranger, and that Scan dropping once again. Now, well, that's just very aggressive TPs in coming from Dreamy, and he also does. Just slowly but surely, they are tilting. The Gyrocopter ultimate does come down. Are they going to be able to actually get anything? No, it's the shards, and Gyrocopter falls. LKR, he's busy running for his life, but there's a snowball. This is just full tilt.
So I don't actually feel too bad for, or rather feel too bad about the way Scan played. He had a Wind Ranger coming in behind him with haste, and he was trying to sort of dodge the line, but that's just never going to work out for him. But yeah, once again, it's just before we saw trades that were going towards Bravado. Now these aren't trades anymore. They're stomps. They're towers and kills. Lots and lots of money on exactly who you want it.
And
Lots
this
of
Dragonite
experience.
pick has not been helping or working for them at all. Before those engagements, he was sitting second in net worth, but I mean now he's he's behind Donny, he's behind everyone. Sitting higher than his helicopter at least, so that is going in their favor. But I mean, we haven't seen any kind of pressure. Dragonite is the hero that goes into Elder Dragon form, puts 2 or 3 shots on the tower, backs off. Rinse, repeat, just so that you can damage the tower a little bit. And we've not seen him use his ultimate once. I'm not sure if we might have missed it, perhaps.
I actually haven't
But-
seen him either, so I tend to agree.
And I mean, picking up the Dragonite, you needed to do something early on. Dragonite can be very, very potent late game, but that's only if he snowballs.
Yeah, and it's not easier to snowball with. I mean, one
No,
thing is
at
for
all.
certain: if your team's fighting and you're not, and your team's losing and you're not there, there's a problem, regardless of what hero you're on. Because Dragonite, as we spoke about earlier, it's not like he's going to get a quick armlet or something and then become the king of the game. He's just going to become a Dragonite with an armlet. So it's a pity he hasn't been more involved. It's difficult, I guess, for Dragonite. He's incredibly slow, 340 move speed. All of his mana, or rather, all his skills are mana intensive, and he doesn't have much mana, excluding Elder Dragon form. But you know, you got to do something with it, because if he just farms for the entire game and never is involved, it's a pretty obvious outcome, right?
Yeah, Dragonites. I mean, you do see Dragonites going into blinks, quite often, as well as Little Tower's actually going to drop from this. You do see them going into blinks and Assault Cuirass. You're just basically buffing up armor completely. Then it's nearly impossible to kill a Dragonite with an Assault Cuirass, with a BKB, with a heart and a blink. Dragonite does enough damage with his Elder Dragon form to just go into survivability, but he's nowhere close to anything of that. And Smacker, I think, buddy, you are dead here on top lane, trying to run away. Actually, drones being used here by the Razor, and just an instant pop onto Smacker.
It's funny because I thought he might actually have been aware and was about to pop the cooldown. Maybe he thought about it and was just like, oh, this is not going to matter anyways. But yeah, obviously, I want to say an important kill for the side of Bravado, but at the point, does it really matter? I mean, looking at the gold graph, it's 10,000 in 60 minutes.
Dragonite used his Dragon form actually for his level 2, trying to farm up the H stack here. This might be able to actually Dragonite going into Shadow Blade, and he will nearly have it after the stack. Do you
handy.
see that as their moment to try something, their moment to go in?
I don't know if it's necessarily their moment, as it's their sort of desperation, but they need to make something happen here. I mean, at the moment, Bravado are making this look very easy, and it doesn't have to be this way, right? They could. This is a good team. Carbon is a strong side. They can make something of this game. At the moment, though, they're just being outplayed. They're making mistakes, which is the biggest issue, because you know there's no mistakes coming out of Bravado, and they're likely to do special things. When you're making mistakes, you're just making their life very easy.
Sanjay Yasha up here for the Razor on the side of Bravado on Raping Ninja, and I mean it's going to be very difficult for Carbon to come back. They do, however, have heroes that can, and the Shadow Blade is up on the Gyrocopter, 45 seconds on his Elder Dragon form. I think they're going to wait for it and then try and go for a movement. Smack, however, Smacker drops his cooldown, and unfortunately not latching onto the shot. Otherwise that would have been an instant kill on him once again.
He got away pretty lucky, but good decision to drop the cooldown. Was gonna give him a little bit of help should they have actually connected. Maybe for enough time, something like Scythe Mage, who is in the surrounds, look for, I don't know, some semblance of a pick-off, but that's a little bit of a stretch. Fortunately though for Carbon, their number 1 position is alive. Unfortunately for Carbon, Bravado are trashing their tier 2 and have no look at stopping.
Seem not having the best game so far. I mean, he's still sitting underneath the Dragonite, barely. But you should normally want your Aghanim Scepter up at this time. But the engagement shot to the bottom lane. Okay, that he does have a double damage rune, but unfortunately, Emily does go in straight away. The hook shot is still there for the Clockwork. It's not going to be enough. His support is coming in. It's just unfortunate. It was, wasn't close enough to actually go for that hook shot out. And Ferrari going straight in onto Dreamy right now. Dreamy does get silenced. Dreamy does silence Ferrari, but the hook shot, the 90-degree angle hook shot, not hook shot, shackle shot, sorry. 90-degree angle shackle shots, hacks.
It was more like a 70-degree, not even.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, unfortunately, the wrong line. There was more so a case I think he just sort of, oh, I have this immediate threat, I'm going to deal with it, and then forgot about the skills of the opponents. Yeah, I mean, let's look for positive things on the side of Carbon, see what they can offer us.
This Dragonite's not doing too badly. He's keeping up with keeping up with Seam at least. And wait, this actually might be an engagement onto Ferrari. This will be a big kill if they do manage to get it. But the game sense, I mean, the map sense, and just Ferrari just chilling back here.
That is kind of ridiculous, right? Because all their awards and stuff like that are very far forward, and all their lanes, excluding that one, is pushed up. There's just absolutely no reason for Carbon to be there other than being intelligent and saying, let's go find a pick off on a hero that's all lonely who thinks he's safe. Yet just says, oh wait, hold on, I don't see cause, I'm getting out of here. And even though I'm at my tier 2, all my lanes pushed out. So credit to him for that, certainly.
Well, I probably would have thought that the side of Carbon would have tried to play more aggressively when the Clockwork came up, when the Gyrocopter came up, and they've gone for an aggressive lineup, but they just, after running in one by one in this middle lane, they've just gone back to a farming defensive lineup. And I'm sorry, but from what I can see, Carbon, do they actually have a late game? Who has the better late game here?
Well, I guess on
question.
paper you could kind of say that the Gyrocopter and the DK are quite powerful heroes into late stage, maybe more so than the Wind Ranger and the Lightning Rev, but only marginally. Don't really have an answer for the Lina themselves, so I would kind of still tend towards the side of Bravado. But even then, that's not going to matter if they're too far behind, because at the moment, that Lina is sitting juggling for like that position with the Dragon Knight, which means that is almost another core in the game. And look at the items. I mean, you do have the All Scepter up already. Obviously, you'd want to desperately see Ags if you recall, or something along those lines. But at the moment, in comparison, he's very healthy.
Yeah, Rosh is taken down right now by the side of Bravado. And let's quickly try and look for the silver linings right now. Like you said, the Dragonite is at least falling up a little bit. He should be okay. Emily on the Donny. He's trying to... Hey, Emily on the Donny, lol. Donny on the Tusk is trying to go in, but... Okay, so Dragonite is not doing too badly considering. The Gyrocopter needs quite a bit more farm, but does have a drums up going most likely towards that Sanjay Yasha. Scant is sitting on 1,000 gold, so working towards his blink. If he gets his blink, it will be big. Clockwork will have his 4-staff up, well, now. I think as soon as those few items are up, Carbon should try and surprise Bravado and just smoke up and go for it. Because if you try and just farm the whole time, sorry, we saw what a farmed Wind Ranger can do yesterday with the EN WRG game, where she just completely dominated everyone. And of course, the Aghanim Scepter is up on the Wind Ranger.
Well, look, I mean, I guess one of the things that Carbon do have going for them is they actually have quite a good team fighting lineup. And they can get those long-range engages off and stuff. So maybe they can catch out sort of... You almost want to be greedy about it, like maybe catch off 3 of the Bravado heroes by themselves. I mean, that's not really by themselves, but, without the full 5. And then pick off those kills cleanly, which is certainly possible. Then, you have an opportunity there to get back in the game. I don't know if that's how they see it at the moment. I think it looks like they're sort of more keen on looking for a, like split pushing, being a little bit doing some rat work, which will at least delay the of Bravado descending upon them. But well,
and he should be able to get this top tier 2 tower. There's no clip up. Bravado is going to be pushing towards this bottom tier 3, and are we going to see any kind of delay? Yes, it's actually being delayed up right now. The top tower did fall. Raping Ninja has his act up, so of course just going straight in here for the tower. He does have his the Aegis of the Immortal as well, so they're going to have to, you know, basically throw everything down onto Raping Ninja and then do it twice. Raping Ninja still going towards the tower. The cooldown was used by Smacker. There's a very good hook shot coming in as well as the Earthshaker. Two heroes are actually caught in, and unfortunately LKR just instantly dropped. There's nothing more that they can do. Raping Ninja will drop his Aegis, not yet. And the Witch Doctor just using his ultimate with no one else there. Gyrocopter busy running away. He has to heal up completely. And Scan just once again using his fissure, so 1 buyback and a 1-for-1 trade-off. So that was 2-for-1 trade-off. I think it will be okay for Carbon. Any kind of trade is a good trade for them. But that hook shot straight into the backlines onto the 2 supports, you know, coming in from the Clockwork, was just insane. Unfortunately, he couldn't force off himself out again.
Yeah, he did some good work there, but they're just too far behind to capitalize on it. And unfortunately, I think this game is looking kind of scary. I looked at the way Bravado behaved in that fight, and they were so casual. The cooldown was dropped on 3 heroes, and nobody bothered to walk out of it. It was just okay. And then we had the greaves popped, and the fight ensued afterwards. And shrugging off ultimates of a hero like Gyrocopter like that, you know, that's kind of scary. For any opponent, and I don't know if, well, bottom lane we do see an engagement here. Emily goes on to Smacker. Do you actually call on Raping Ninja is in support here, as he looks to try to finish the deal here. A lot of damage being drained here, and can they just finish off? He is getting pretty close to his friends. Luck are going to help support out. There's the cogs up, going to buy him some time, and they will in fact save the day for Jar, who definitely did not want to die there.
203 damage being stolen by the Razor. It will of course come off shortly, but the Aegis, they have to be careful, because if they do decide to push now and the Aegis pops while Raping Ninja is being attacked, they might actually be able to get that kill. And there's the hook shot going straight in onto Raping Ninja. I think it's like just 1 minute left. They're throwing everything onto Raping Ninja that they can. Unfortunately, it's just not enough. Whoa, the stuns coming through, and unfortunately, Habibi not being targeted right now. The Witch Doctor wards just doing quite a lot of damage up until this Dragonite. This Dragonite is going to go down with 1 shot. That is 3 heroes down, and the Echo Slam coming through. They actually do manage to pick off 1 hero to a couple of heroes in return, but there's Raping Ninja. To be honest, I think if that was like 10 seconds later, the Aegis would have expired, and that would have been a big change. But the stun coming through from the Witch Doctor, that paralyzing cask, going from the creep all the way towards all 3 the heroes here and just knocking them out the whole time. It was just like RNG, dude, seriously.
Well, look, gotta say, if you're throwing all of your offensive prowess onto a Razor with an Aegis, unfortunately, things are not looking good. And I mean, they're not the sort of team that would do that if they weren't under intense pressure. The scary thing is they didn't even kill him. He actually turned around and continued playing aggressively because, well, I'm still alive and I still have an Aegis, so pick up the kills. And unfortunately, Carbon, this game is running thin for them. I think that really it's pretty much time to go game 2.
The Scarith Mage really needs the level 11. I mean, it's a big difference between 600 and 1,000 damage on that Mystic Flare. But the Scarith, I mean, you know, playing quite well. Unfortunately, I did this with Prof. I love playing with Scarith. I'm not the biggest fan of Scarith. He's just too squishy. He just gets instantly popped, and his damage, you know, it doesn't scale late game at all. Every other hero from Carbon scales well late game. Clockwork can defend with some clutch hook shots coming through. Gyrocopter can go late game. Earthshaker definitely can, and of course Dragonite can. The one hero that can't is the Scarith Mage. He's supposed to secure your early and mid game, and unfortunately that was not the case.
Well, it's pretty much done and dusted. Raping Ninja almost, I mean, he has the money. He pretty much tried bought a heart from that exchange. Now, he was hard to kill before. Now he is impossible to kill. I mean, if you actually consider the amount of damage that Carbon have on the map, if they throw every single ultimate at him, he might die, but probably not. And then, so you require still quite a few right clicks still required to bring him down. Now, you're gonna have, you know, these things called teammates around him when when they do that. And if they have to commit that sort of pressure to Raping Ninja, well, they're just going to die anyways.
Well, we will see the engagement. They might actually try and counter-engage. There's the huge Echo Slam. They are actually going on to Raping Ninja. They do not manage to take him down. The snowball actually saved him. Now the Laguna blade straight to the face of Scan, and the call out is there from Smacker. He's trying to go in. They're still trying to do as much damage as possible. Everyone is extremely low. Are they going to be able to actually finish everything off here? The Rocket Barrage. This is going to be the death of the Tusk. Unfortunately, that blink snowball just saved Raping Ninja, and now Smacker wants to go onto Raping Ninja right now. He's actually busy stealing all the damage he can, being lifted up, and Smacker might just drop from this. Raping Ninja's like, how's your daddy? I'm just gonna take everything, and that was the fight that they needed. But that blink in from Donnie, that save from that Tusk, probably just won them this game.
It's kind of funny because I was just saying, like, if you throw everything at the Razor, then his teammates are going to come through, and then that's exactly what happened. And unfortunately, that's the position that Carbon found themselves in, where it was the right call, but you're just too far behind to do anything with it. And to be fair, it was a pretty good engagement for them.
Good game.
The way they actually played was pretty handy. It's just unfortunately they don't have hearts on their cores.
Yep. And
that's, I guess, a little history now.
If this happened 5 minutes ago, probably would have won. If the Tusk didn't blink in there, I just told you, well, this is what I think. That Tusk won them that game with that blink and snowball, because Raping Ninja was going to drop. And just because of that, with the heart, you just heal up so fast. Turned around, they chased extremely far, and it's just GG's. I mean, Bravado just completely dominating once again. And it just came off 2 team fights that weren't team fights, that were one-on-one fights on the middle lane and the bottom lane. After that, Bravado was just like, well, thank you for the game. We've got this. Any last thoughts before we head into game number 2?
Stranger things have happened than Carbon beating Bravado, since it has happened in the past. But right now,
Twice.
This is a very scary looking Bravado. They got a lot of work cut out for them. But hopefully we will see them take at least a game or 2 Bravado. That would be nice.
Well, this is the best out of 5, so anything is possible, guys. We'll see you guys in game number 2 shortly. Thanks so much for Gigabyte for sponsoring this event. $2,000 up in cold hard cash, 1,000 first prize, 600 second, 400 for third, and of course, Dota 2 Lounge for listening to games. And last but not least, definitely not least, NAV TV for hosting this tournament here in South Africa. We'll see you guys in around 5 or so minutes. Cheers.
Cheerio.
I never get tired of. Number 99, just as I am.
I'm a mountain that has been moved. I'm a river that is all dry. I'm an ocean nothing floats on. I'm a sky that nothing wants to fly. I'm a sun that doesn't burn hot. I'm a moon that never shows its face. I'm a you're breaking it down. It falls to the ground. 'Cause I had lost what you just found. The noise all around, I'm drowning it out. Like we're the only ones in the crowd. 'Cause you save me now. Save me now. Save me now. Save
Okay, guys, welcome back to Bravado Emotion versus Carbon Gaming. This is the main finals, the grand finals, the best out of 5 grand slam between these two powerhouses in the South African scene. Bravado Emotion winning game number 1 comfortably off the back of 2 very questionable team fights coming through from Carbon, where they were running in 1 by 1. I'm Reddit. Joining me is Halbert. We're both from Nav TV, the hosts of this tournament here in South Africa. Halbert, how are you doing?
I'm great. Probably a little bit happy at the moment than Carbon is. But
Why did you bet on Bravado?
you know, I don't bet on games I was casting, except I
Of
didn't
course.
know that I was casting this, so maybe.
Oh.
But yeah, I think Carbon have a lot of work to do if they want to take up Bravado here. They pretty much showed why it is that they're considered the best in South Africa. And I think, you know, you mentioned those 2 team fights that went very poorly for Carbon that Bravado just lapped up. But I also think there's more to it than that, because Bravado also, they just seem to just always come out slightly ahead. Even when they were doing exchanges, they tended to be a little bit further ahead anyways. And additionally, even in the laning stage, I mean, a lot of that you can give to Ferrari just having a much better time of it at mid than, I believe it was Smacker. Oh, sorry, Chosen One.
That's it.
Even so, all their lanes, they just seem to get like, just a little bit more out of it. They just get that little edge. And that edge just keep growing and duplicating until it comes to the point where it is significant and daunting for their opponents. I think that they're a strong side though. They've got some really talented players. They'll definitely want to be better in this matchup. They'll definitely want to win the series. But I guess it all starts in game 2 for them if they want to make that comeback real.
No, definitely. So the bannouts coming through here from Bravado Emotion, it is the Bounty Hunter, the Tusk, and the Anti-Mage being banned out. That does leave so many heroes in the pool. It does leave the Earthshaker. It leaves the Winter Wyvern. It leaves the Lina. It's going to be interesting to see what they actually do.
Yeah, there's a lot in the pool, as you say. I think that the Earthshaker is also something that I would really like to pick up if I was specifically Carbon, because Bravado, as you mentioned before, are a very aggressive team, and Earthshaker is a beautiful hero to counter-initiate with. Obviously, you need to find that Blink Dagger, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they take it up. Maybe not on the first pick, but you know, in their second spot. Bravado Emotion, though, I think they have their options open.
Yep.
We'll see what they do with it.
Winter Wyvern being picked up right now after the Lina ban out. So the Earthshaker will most likely be picked up here by Bravado Emotion. Good counter initiating hero, good initiating hero. Unfortunately, Scant wasn't given really the opportunity. I mean, he got some insane echoes off, but it was just constant. It was always just a little bit too late, and not due to a fault of his own. It was just the engagement coming through from Bravado Emotion. Always had Carbon running backwards and fighting instead of running forwards and fighting. And Earthshaker is just so strong as soon as you're running forwards. You're running into the enemy, you're chasing them. And, well, they do pick up the Earthshaker first pick here. Next pickup is going to be interesting. I mean, are we... From Carbon's side, are we just going to see them straight go Winter Wyvern, Darkseer combo? Or are they going to run the more signature dual lanes that we actually know Carbon for? And with the dual lanes, they can pressure out Bravado a little bit more, try and shut down Bravado a little bit more in the laning stage, because I honestly feel that is where Bravado wins their games. It's straight down, it comes down to the laning stage. We hardly ever see them move past while, you know, basically fighting from a big deficit in the laning stage, even though we know they can do it. I just think if Carbon can get the lead early on, they might be able to take this to Bravado.
You know, it's pretty weird, because have we actually seen a position where Bravado have had to fight back? I mean, I recall
last month,
towards the end of last
Galactic
year.
Slam. Last month, where actually Carbon won them, beat them in a clean 2-0 sweep.
I must admit, I'm a little bit, you know, when I didn't watch the match, to be honest, but I often feel that when Bravado lose, it's because Bravado haven't really shown up.
Well, it
I
was
think
that's
to
hold on. That match was for 10,000 rand in cash. No second prize. That's roughly
well,
$1,000. The winner of this tournament gets a little bit more, but for first prize. But that was for just like a once off 10,000 rand cash prize. Winner takes all. Second place gets nothing.
Seconds remaining.
I guess there's some merit to that then. But yeah, I guess that's.
Time.
I mean, question is, can Bravado come back from those situations? Because we haven't really seen them in that position very frequently, regardless. If they can, it's kind of scary, right? Because then they're a team that can play well with the back foot as well, which they obviously don't have a huge amount of practice with. I'm saying that I was, watching the likes of Noob versus Carbon, and one of the things I felt that potentially gave Noob an edge in that matchup when the game got quite late was that I believe that Carbon, or that Noob, they play a lot of games that tend to go quite late. And do you have the experience really does matter when you get to that point. How much experience does Bravado Motion actually have of playing
5 seconds.
towards the late game? Probably not a huge amount. So I think that it wouldn't hurt Carbon to look for some like real late gamers and try to start. But you can't go too greedy. You can't look for the things like Mercurial because that can backfire so terribly if it doesn't go your way. So I'm thinking maybe more.
That's the thing. You have to take it to Bravado early, otherwise they just stomp the. Well, I'm not talking like a early game lineup, but you have to take it to them early on because otherwise they just completely crush. Prophecy made a very good example. He basically said Bravado Motion are like DK 2014. They will crush you in the laning stage, and then they will go on to win.
Reserve time.
And if they do lose laning stage, there's sometimes like, what do we do now? Because they don't have a lot of experience, and sometimes they tilt after that. And I think that should be Carbon's game plan, take them on, because that is what they did a month ago. They dominated Bravado early game, and they just snowballed in both games. And of course, having someone late game to actually carry them late game is perfectly fine. They do have a Shadow Fiend, which can do quite a bit of damage. A Winter Wyvern, which, I mean, the stronger your opponents get, the stronger you get. I like this lineup from them here. We just need to see if they can. I mean, it always seems like if you're up against Bravado, the mental aspect comes into play more than anything else. And if Carbon doesn't take this to Bravado early on, if they don't take the early fights, but together as a team, I think Bravado's just going to walk over them in this game and the next, and the third game. You're closing this one off on a 3-0.
Well, I think that in any game, though, you have to take it to your opponent so long. If you give them the laning stage, you're going to lose 90% of the time, even if you're a better side. So, Calvin, I totally agree with you in that respect. I do think, though, they
Dire
you need to try vary it up. I mean, what they tried last matchup didn't work at all, and that had some pretty aggressive heroes in it. So if they try the same thing, just rinse repeat, they're gonna have the same result. I'm a little bit surprised though that they actually gave away the Doxia here, because Doxia and Earthshaker are a pretty mean combination. I'm not too sure who's gonna play what. I don't think Donnie is like I would imagine he's a good Doxia because he offlanes very well.
10 seconds.
However, to me, Doxia is not quite as let's say it's not quite as
Flashy?
flashy as the likes of heroes that he generally plays. I mean, that said, you can get off some pretty amazing vacuums, and that itself can be flashy. But there's not a huge amount beyond that. So we'll see if he actually does end up playing that hero or not. I
think
almost see that as
we
a little
saw
bit of a
him
good
playing-
thing for Carbon if he's not on something like really flashy, because that's all right.
I think we saw him playing a Darkseer a couple days ago, and he just dominated, if I'm not mistaken. But the Shadow Shaman being picked up here by Carbon, they want to try and push. They want to, every time the Shadow Shaman wards are up, they would like to push. They would like to take a tower. This lineup here shows to me that they want to play objective-based gaming, and that's from early on.
By the way, I love this kind of draft coming out from Carbon, just have to say it. Not so much about the full sort of spectrum of it. However, Winter Wyvern and Shadow Fiend are a pretty nefarious combination. It works in the same concept of this sort of old school Center Warrunner and Shadow Fiend, where you get the engagement off of those two heroes, and the opponents are forced to either respond or to drop a hero for free. And often that means that they're responding in a fight that they don't really want to. So I really like the position that puts people in. And hopefully they can make it work out for them. Shadow Shaman is actually almost like coupling up on that though. It obviously has a great amount of pushing power, so they'll probably look to get on the front foot. But it also allows another possibility for that scenario to play out. Bravado Motion do have really good initiation from the Earthshake and the Scarlet Mage at range, so that does mean that they're quite well equipped to deal with it, but then it'll just come down to execution.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the Wraith King being picked up now by Carbon. Wraith King did get a buff. It sounds like a small buff, but it's actually quite a big one, with a 7 damage increase to start off with. Wind Ranger being picked up by Bravado. I mean, Wind Ranger has been the star of this tournament. I basically have to say, the surprise pickup for this entire tournament. And Clockwork being banned out by Bravado. I mean, Clockwork initiation would have been good. But who would you say is, should actually go with offlane if Carbon's not actually running dual lanes here?
To be honest, I think that ban is more about limiting the options that Carbon have. Clockwork's obviously very disruptive, and although I don't think it's the greatest hero as far as synergy goes to pull up with their lineups, but it has some synergy, and that is useful. So I think Bravado looked at it and went, hey, if they're going to run a safe lane, tri-core, or safe lane, tri-lane, and also have a solo off-laner, then what hero don't we want to play against? And Clockwork, I guess, makes sense, because there's not a huge amount left in the pool as far as off-laners go. I mean, we have got the sort of usual suspects pretty much picked up and banned out at this point.
Yeah, well, Bravado, it's their last turn to pick. They have their Wind Ranger can't play the number 1 role, can't play mid, so this next pick will most likely, there's the Spectre pick. So it will be a Wind Ranger mid, a Spectre. I mean, this lineup from Bravado just looks so damn scary.
I wouldn't want to be Rasta right about now. That hero is pretty slow. I mean, I recall recently he got a bit of a move speed buff. He's pretty slow, very squishy, and generally he wants to go for items that allow him mobility, and that comes in the form of something like a blink dagger or eels or whatnot. But he needs specific items based on the fact that he needs some sort of mana regeneration. Now, Spectre just nom-noms Shadow Shamans because, well, they can't really move. What they do have, though, is the capability of dispelling an illusion very quickly. And they can, and you can look to do that, but then it's just a disable that you don't have available to the team fight for at least a little while.
Well, the Slardar has been picked up here by Carbon. I mean, Slardar did get a very nifty buff. His spread actually gives you phase. And I mean, that means you can just go straight into your power trades, into drums if you'd like, into a blink. Slardar will have a lot of mobility here. And between Slardar and Wraith King, those are two heroes that can tank pretty damn well. Shadow Fiend from the range, Shadow Shaman to try and split the fight up with the wards, and Winter Wyvern to try and, well, disrupt the team fight. Both these drafts I really like, but we saw what a Spectre does. Spectre's only lost once so far in this tournament, and that was when Carbon completely shuts him down with a dual lane up against the side of a WRG, White Rabbit Gaming. Oh, have you crashed? Okay, I have not crashed this time, so I'm just going to continue on speaking in game. Okay, so let me just find out all the audio fine.
battle begins.
Every coin helps.
Stun coming out from Smack as well. They're going to look for the body block here, which is pretty decent, but can they finish the deal? He doesn't surge up. Obviously not available just yet, so a little bit more difficult to get away, but does manage to do so. And nice work there by Dreamy just to dispel the healing coming through on Donnie at that
Quite
point.
surprised that they went on that early. I mean, knowing that the Arctic Burn is, of course, was still on cooldown. Very surprised, but top lane, Lucker just harassing out Ferrari a little bit. Quite a bit of harassment coming out top, middle as well. They try to get the stun off on the Shadow Fiend from up high. And Alcar is just like man-moding it right now against Raping Ninja and Ferrari. They don't have any lockdown, so he should be having quite a good time on this offlane.
I think the big thing is it's almost like you're against one hero. At the very least, until we see some levels of Desolate coming up onto Raping Ninja where you can actually pack out quite a punch. But at the moment, the only threat he has is Ferrari. Obviously, there is the Earthshake is now going to change all of that because this man does have lockdown and he's just scouting out Luck and he will get the block off. Doesn't actually hit with the stun, but it might be enough to finish the job as Luck has nowhere to go. Will try to sprint through. Tango to a tree. It actually might just be okay, but once going to be on the low ground, does have that haste available to him. Dodges the stun nicely. Habidi should be able to finish the job here. Doesn't have mana for the Fisher just yet. Will be available now, but the hit has run out. Just biding his time as Luck still just sprints for the hills. He, I think, is trying to get the most out of this. Oh, well, does actually get this part. Now, trying to deny himself up, but the Fisher will be there.
Oh, he
no,
got killed by
Fisher
neutral.
goes wide. He actually missed the Fisher. Strange.
Good movement coming through. As you can see, the score is still 0-0. We might see an engagement here onto Steam. Are they going to go straight onto him? There is a shackle. The shackle is there. Are they going to be able to actually kill Steam with this? I'm not quite sure. There is a long range. Is it actually going to be enough? One hit. Oh, Chosen One just. I think he. I'm just trying to. What? Oh, that's actually rough. That is very, 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 very rough.
What?
Is that actually true? It is
I'm
6
not
o'clock, so.
Yeah, a little bit earlier on my side. Let me just double. Yeah, I guess
Okay.
pretty close to 6 o'clock.
If that was a troll, then that was very bad coming through from Donnie. But if that is true, then I completely understand, and we will, give it a 5 or 10 minute pause duration, depending on how long this actually takes. But from Chosen One, I mean, I honestly feel that he was a little bit hesitant in regards with, just going on to Seam. He tried and run up a little bit, and Scads, of course, waited quite a while before he actually shackled. Now, of course, you wanted to wait for the wind run to finish on the shackle, or for the wind run to first happen before you shackled, but I don't completely agree with that, because if you shackle before the wind run, get a few right clicks off, and then as soon as he starts wind running, it's a 3 raise, which should be sufficient to actually get the kill. So missing the timing a little bit, that's just what I think. And I think this was actually true. Abdur or Mr. Seam here on the middle lane actually does have to pray. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes until he's back.
So I think the thing is though that Seam, I hear what you're saying. You try to get off the right clicks and whatnot on Seam, and then give the shackle when you wind runs. But the likelihood is you don't wind run. and then we'll have it anyways available to him. So I think
No, but that's
it's
what
a little bit of
that's exactly what I'm saying. Is shackle before he win runs. Don't wait for it, because then you've got the entire shackle duration to right click, and then when he win runs, then you go for your raises.
Oh right, I'm sorry, I misheard you. So I thought you were saying something silly. Yeah. Well, look. That sort of thing is certainly true. I think he was probably trying to set up for the triple raise combination, didn't quite get it off. With that amount of damage he can output, it's actually pretty much enough to secure the kill regardless. But he actually only hit 2, I believe. So Seam was able to limp out of that one. And it's pretty amazing that Seam was as ballsy as he was. I mean, he actually turned around to deal damage even though he was so low. And that bottle charge was sort of like, must have been doing some serious mathematics there. He got very, very low and yet was still standing his ground. Unfortunately, though, that's an, I would have been quite happy if for us the Shadow Shaman pick had paid off there, because taking down Seam early on would be really, really great news to them. Of course, Chosen One is essentially going to be required to give them the sort of early game advantage that they're looking for. The Shadow Fiend obviously should come online a lot faster than the Wraith King, and just snowball from there. So those sort of early kills on your opponent makes a big difference. In addition, what it is likely to do, and you're sort of seeing this anyways, is it forces a response from the supports, because they're going to have to try to equalize the lane. But I guess they've done that much at least, which will provide a little bit of space for Lucka, who's... I actually thought he would have got a couple of losses in this lane, but actually quite far behind at the moment. I'm not sure this is... He's actually legitimately sitting on 0-0. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought he would have been able to get something out of it.
Well, there's actually a little bit of trolling coming through here from all the guys here. It's like just saying, please don't stun me, Raz. That is, of course, Smacker. He's just saying, we're buds.
Yeah, good to see that. I mean, what I noticed about this team in particular is they actually have quite a bit of good sort of relationships with each other, which is quite like relief might be an exaggeration, but it's good to see, because for those of you who don't know, these two sides used to be sister teams, if you will. There was Bravado Blue and Bravado Emo, which ended up splitting up into Carbon, and Bravado Emo remained with Bravado. So it's good to see that there's no hard feelings and everyone's pretty happy with each other.
Yep. So game is back underway right now, and of course Seam did manage to survive that one. Chosen does have enough for 2 raises if Seam comes a little bit too close, and of course Chosen will just try and push out this wave so that he secures himself the next run.
Saw something really weird. Maybe I'm crazy, but aren't Smacker and Habibi related?
I can't remember.
I might be confusing them with somebody else. I seem to remember something like that, which is weird that only one of them went to go pray. At least it was the sounds of things.
Well, maybe both of them did. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe I'm wrong. There's always just that possibility that I'm wrong, so my apologies if I'm. Yeah.
Well, let's just have a look here, guys, at the current last hits and denies coming through. It is 25-9 on the Spectre. The Spectre is just having the time of his life. To 17-7, 17-5 from the side of Carbon, and then a 13-0 versus 5-1 for the 2 offlaners. So Donny, of course, having quite a nice time here. Still only sitting at level 3 though, but goes up in the Iron Shell. And are there actually any stacks happening? There's only a single stack right now here for Shadow Fiend. Oh, Habibi's coming in. He actually does get scouted out, and the courier will just fly overhead. Well, he didn't actually.
That's really curious. Do you think he's trying to bring down the courier? He's also placed a ward here.
No, this is purely for the stacks. So that when they see them farming the stacks, they can smoke and try and kill Chosen One, because he'll most likely not have enough mana to turn and fight.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It was just the timing. Like the courier was flying over to it. I was like, this is interesting. Maybe he wants this, but. I could kind of imagine that Earthshade with Chant Totem up would actually go through this, but
here's the
Little Lame
engagement straight on the Shadow Fiend. The stun is there, as well as the Shackle Shot. There's a double damage on to Seam, but there's just nothing he can do about this. The Shackle Shot, the Fissure, instant pickoffs, and that is the first blood.
Now, how this go really, really wrong for Carbon is if they catch him up when he tries to bring down the stacks, because what's like going to happen is once he gets, in fact, he's kind of capable of doing so already, but certainly at level 7, he's going to want to come bring down his little monstrosities waiting for him. If they catch him out again there and potentially steal it, which, oh, hold on, I see a lot of damage going on to Donnie. No, it's just a bit of thing. But yeah, if they do manage to bring him down there and clear the stack, he is so far behind where he'd want to be.
Definitely. And I mean, we just saw that level 6 coming through from the Windrunner before the Shadow Fiends, and I mean, that's just the difference that it makes. One level difference gives you a little bit of extra, and Bunny just coming in mid as well. Quite interesting why he's deciding to hang out here. Maybe just trying to push out this wave, trying to... Oh, and now just backing out. I think it was anyway on his way back to base, so he just decided to help out, to help push out the lane. Top lane though, Lacquer sitting on level 5, really having that level 6 up. That level 6 and the minus armor will help out quite a bit.
Yeah, it's actually very powerful, especially in the early stage where you haven't really picked up any sort of items to support the, to offset some of that damage. Spectre unfortunately doesn't have the lowest starting armor in the game, so she's okay for a little while. Or middle lane, Seam actually doesn't care for the shackle, and that's almost a little bit surprising, since he did actually have the Invisor up and has been so good at him in the past. So
yep.
Missed
and will most likely move straight into the jungle right now. There's a triple stack for him and a double stack. And they won't, of course, scout out the double stack. But Chosen One has to be careful because he can't stay in lane. If he gets shackled up one more time, he will actually die. We'll just try and actually missing that raise.
Oh, Seam is just aggressive. I mean, the man is running down to a tier 2, just continue denying. The pressure is just mounting on Chosen One.
Team's going straight in here to try and steal the stacks, maybe. Or just wait for him. Nope, just gonna back out. The 3 heroes now top lane for the side of Carbon. I mean, they're trying to play aggressively up against Raping Ninja right now. Raping Ninja should get out of this one alive. This is 3 heroes versus 1. They have left Smacker up on the bottom lane. I mean, he does have reincarnation, so he should be okay. BB is still hanging around here middle lane, only level 2 at this point. But I mean, he only needs his like 1 level in fissure. Chosen is going to be able to get double damage rune on the bottom lane. Oh, nope.
It could be some...
Chosen's going straight onto BB, doing quite a bit of damage. Are they going to be able to wrap around? Is the stun going to beat from Smacker? The stun is there, and just one raise. Fortunately, yeah, nothing much that you can do about that. So now it's a 1-for-1 trade-off. Seam is busy doing a bit of damage here onto the middle tower. And, well, just more stacks going the way of Chosen.
Well, it depends who gets better of this. They're actually kind of jostling for them at the moment as they're somewhat being stolen from... Now they do see the engagement onto Chosen One. Connect with the shackle this time. That is a 90-degree shackle. That is all history as Smack
well,
now.
the counter engagement on right now. They do manage to get the Wraith King. His reincarnate is back up. Are they going to be able to actually do anything? They're going straight onto Ferrari. Ferrari's being right-clicked down. The stun coming through from the Earthshake. There's also a buyback. The Shadow Fiend is coming in. Are they going to actually be able to get anything here? Raping Ninja did just use the Spectral Dagger, and one more raise going onto Seam. The stun onto Raping Ninja. This is turning out to be very good for the side of Bravado. Are they going to be able to get anything further? Well, LKR comes in with a stun. Good fissure on top of Habibi, but is Cat going to be able to actually cut off no, he's not going to be able to latch the shackles. But is there going to be a dive coming through here from LKR? It does seem that way. He really wants this. He does manage to get that smash, Hulk smash. And what a turnaround here. It did cost him a buyback, but still, what a turn for the side of Carbon.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Well, I got to applaud the sort of awareness coming out from Smack. I mean, he was very, very low there, and he trusted his team enough to just sort of sacrifice his life to get the slow off and, come back with a vengeance. Which is exactly what happened there, which changes the look and feel of this match, because before then there was quite a handy advantage going the way of Bravado, and now it's pretty much even.
That Windrunner will at least take the middle tower, most likely. But that was a 2,000 gold advantage that's basically down to 0 right now. Oh, okay, never mind. The tower gold will, of course, just come into play there. So, but still, coming back with 2,000 gold. And Donnie's trying to TP out. Is there anything? Can they? Oh, fortunately not. Donnie's just trying to steal these stacks. Cheeky boy.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be quite frustrating for Carbon, but they're actually getting some value out of it, because that whole sort of scenario began by only stealing stacks. So it probably paid out more for Chosen if he had actually picked them up himself. The thing that I have to mention though is that there's one person who's being completely left unchecked at the moment, and it's Raping Ninja in this top. So he's finished up an entire Vanguard in 10 minutes. His CS is not perfect, but it's really, really good considering that they have rotated 3 heroes here at some point. And they can't even, otherwise they're...
Sorry, we are seeing LKR actually going in, but the stun from her maybe actually... Look at the net worth though, 4,300 for the Spectre and 4,200 for the Wraith King. So they're neck and neck. The mid laners are 4,200 just under, and then Chosen One sitting around 500 below that. So the two carries are, you know, neck and neck in regard to this.
Yeah, the thing is though,
Dire's bottom
the sort of money on the Spectre is going to probably go further than the money on the Wraith King, so they can't really break even. And I think Carbon understand that and they respect that, because the item selection coming out so far from Smacker isn't greedy at all. He's gone for the Blade Mill, so there's a clear indication that he actually wants to fight. He could have possibly also gone for Blink Dagger, but maybe just realizing that they do have you know the engagement coming out in the Slaughter. I mean, he moves quickly. He's got tranquil boots up, so when he sprints, he sprints fast.
Well, I mean, you know, having that Blade Mail up, especially up against the Windrunner, is a very, very strong option. I think Smacker's waiting for a BB to come in, will land a fissure, and then he will just re-engage. Waiting for support. Supports are coming in right now. This is going to be LKR. More support. So Donnie's also coming in here on top of Habibi. They're going to go in. There's the initial stun from Smacker. Is there actually going to be a follow-up? Nope. It's just going to be Blade Mail and then going back. Yeah, like I said, that Blade Mail, if the Windrunner starts shooting you, you just Blade Mail it up. And Windrunner is really going to do quite a bit of damage to herself. Might be seeing a blink afterwards, but as you mentioned as well, we'll have the Slaughter for that. And Slaughter will actually be building it to a 4-star instead of the blink, which I think is a better option on Slaughter.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because, I mean, Slaughter, you know, if you read his skills, you go, oh, this makes a great late game carry, but he really doesn't. He sort of doesn't have the ability to flash farm at all, so he struggles a little bit towards the later stages, falls off pretty much at the mid game. So, pretty interesting to see Laka go for quite a, you know, quite an interesting build here, as somebody chats in all chat. Who's
That was one of the casters. I'll talk with them afterwards. But yeah, Wraith King busy. I think he got like three crits off like after each other. And that's why Donnie was just chilling him. But we do see a smoke rotation from BVD coming in. They really want to kill this Wraith King. However, Wraith King does have Reincarnate, and he's gonna run straight into them. So let's actually see what happens. He's gonna break the smoke, and well, do they actually manage to scout this out? Smoke broken completely, and I think Smacker dead. Unfortunately, the Shackle, well, yeah, the Shackle actually did latch. Is there going to be more support TPs coming in? He is back right now, and he does cast on, well, he actually, wait, what?
Spectre
There you go. But Blade Mail is on at this point, and LKR just running straight in there, does manage to get a good stun on 3 heroes, and Dreamy, of course, does have his Winter Curse. This could actually be huge if they do manage to get... I would most likely put the Winter's Curse on top of Habibi, let everyone focus on him, and just try and counter engage from there. More support coming in, the Shadow Fiend is busy running as well. Okay, call it right now. Who's going to take this?
Well, I think almost certainly the side of Carbon, because they do have already got them out. So although they're going to get provided with some armor for that, BD's pretty much out of this fight already. I mean, he doesn't look like from this point, but he's currently under that stun, and he's just going to get smashed apart with the help of Dreamy and co. And once Shadow arrives to pick up the pieces, is going to be great. And unfortunately, what is the next sort of logical series of events to happen is that we're going to see the Winter's Curse out onto likely Seam or somebody on the backlines there, causing this fight to be actually devastating for Bravado. I mean,
well,
sort of a deal breaker.
Keep one thing in mind. Johnny is here, he does have Vacuum, Earthshaker's around 2 heroes already, and last but not least, Spectre can haunt in. If one more hero comes into range, which, and there's a Vacuum Echo Slam. Oh, there's no Echo Slam!
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that works really well if He has banner for his ultimate, and there's a Nico stam available. Because then, yeah, then I agree that's a different story. But unfortunately, Donnie's got one option here, which is a vacuum. He could potentially wand and just drop the wall, but that would be very unlikely. And unfortunately, Habiti's, like I said, he's pretty much out of this fight. He's going to be destroyed very, very quickly in this. He does have Enchant Totem, though. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just think that once Shadow Fiend arrives, this is going to be a cleanup. The sort of deal breaker for me, though, potentially, is can Raping Ninja add any value to this? Because if he ulties immediately, he's probably just doing more of a detriment, and he's going to be ulting into Winter's Curse. However, if he like times it well, maybe actually is able to get in there and deal a bit of damage. However, you know, with all those players around, he doesn't offer a huge amount at this level other than just, you know, dispersing some damage. So I don't know. I think Carbon. I think this is their fight and potentially their moment in the series.
Yeah, well, Reborn has issues sometimes with reconnecting. So reconnect to the console, and I think we should decide it based on which offlaner has more kills. The guys are busy trolling each other at this point because they said, well, unfortunately, Raping Ninja can't reconnect. And that is a problem, a known Reborn problem. We can't load a game because the last we tried that, there was no load option. So we can't reload at 14 minutes, can't recreate because, I mean, it's already 15 minutes into the game. And Carbon all of a sudden has just, you know, brought this game back. Not as much as you would think, only from 2,000 to around 1,000 gold experience, but experience-wise, they're leading. And 1,000 gold at 14 minutes is absolutely nothing. After this fight, if they do win, for example, that will most likely be 2,000 or 3,000 gold, and then they can start working from there on out. So just new drafts, yeah, not really gonna help. And then Scat was just like, well, I think we should just call this game on which offlaner has the most kills, and that is LKR.
I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed, particularly that this is happening at this stage of the event. But additionally so, because I really wanted to see what the Software Wizardry ended up being. I had a hope and a dream that it would be a Yules, but I don't think that's going to be the case of this game. And unfortunately for Bravado, as good as they are, that's their one role. That's the... Oh, never mind. Raping Ninja back in the game.
He has reconnected, so when we go ready, guys, it's gonna be close. There are already, well, the Arctic Burns already are back. Sorry, hashtag Reborn. There you go. Everyone is saying go. Let's quickly have a look here. The stun has just landed straight onto 3 heroes. Are they actually going to be able to get the Winter's Curse? No, it's just an instant pop. And a good shackle coming through as well, as Smacker might be in big trouble here. He does get smacked up. Oh, wait, no, there's no mech here for the feed. They are trying to counter against. Ferrari is actually... Oh! Shaman, an unnecessary... Well, how do you say, Scat making an unconventional mistake. Uncharacteristic mistake. You see, I'm not in my casting, mind frame, because of that pause.
Man.
I mean, meh.
So, although that fight went extraordinarily different than I expected it would, I think I still won because only one death occurred and it was on the side of Bravado.
Yes.
But I think, I wonder how that would have played out if Raping Ninja hadn't have DC'd, because it would have been a lot more messy, and I think there was a good chance that Bravado was sort of, okay, this is bad, get out, this is how we're going to do it. It was certainly aided by an excellent shackle shot from Seam.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess it's all history now, and we just move on.
To be honest, exactly like you said, if this happened in the heat of the moment, we might have seen Raping Ninja actually just coming in straight, and they might have lost 1 or 2 more heroes.
Hopefully that isn't like a... I mean, you'll generally able to see how a game goes, sort of like if the game becomes quite close and Bravado just sort of switch through, then you can sort of think like, hey, what would have happened?
Bottom lane, they are engaging straight onto Donnie. Donnie has not used his surge just yet. He will have available, but it's not going to be enough. He actually uses his mech. Now surge is out. He's gonna actually wrap around. He's trying to TP, but Smacker just actually catches him and crits him to death. Slowly but surely, Carbon making their way back into this game. To even it out once again, it's completely even with a 1k XP advantage.
I'll tell you what. I mean, you gotta credit Bravado in some sort of weird way that they're 8-2 behind, and yet the gold graph and experience graph don't really show it. I mean, 750 XP at 60 minutes is useful, not anything amazing. And the gold graph actually only 500 in the favor of Carbon when it was initially sitting at 1.5k very early on in the favor of Bravado. That's pretty good work for both sides. I mean, both teams have performed very well, and Raping Ninja could be in a little trouble. He's going to be able to dissuade further engagement thanks to Spectral Dagger. But Laka actually could re-engage in this because he does have he's not going to be able to do so because Ferrari is no.
Yeah. The big dagger is up right now on the Wraith King here. Chosen One still trying to farm up Roberts. He does have his mate going for another stack up right now. Having a look at the number 1 and number 2 rolls from Bravado. Windranger building slowly towards that. So we'll have it in around 750 gold. And last but not least, Spectre will have the Radiance up in roughly around, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's when the game starts for Bravado. I mean, everything they've done now has been create space for Raping Ninja. And, when you see 3k gold, you kind of know what the person's thinking. This would be an excellent time, though, for Carbon to catch him out, because he's going to lose a huge chunk of that catch. They do grab him, and they should sort of be aware that this is like the position that they're in, and they could do that sort of mathematically very easily by just sort of looking at...
Hold on that.
Look at Smack.
Bottom Wraith King is actually being engaged upon. He does not have his reincarnation, and now it is champion, but very good wall placement. They can't do anything about this.
That's a very clean, decent pick-off. I mean, I was gonna say they can use like Smacker as like a milestone to show like how close this is to that radiance. And then, well, a little bit harder when you see the deaths change around and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's actually a very even game. I think that Cotton are actually looks like almost like a different team than the first matchup. They're just playing with so much more aggression, but more importantly, making a lot less mistakes. In fact, I would probably say that although Otto maybe sort of will be quite happy where they are, considering the fact that we have the latest game character in the game, that they've actually probably been the side that's made more mistakes this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Slardar does have his 4 staff up right now. We might actually just see him wrap around going onto Ferrari because, well, let's see, is that going to happen? Smacker does blink in, get the stun out, be onto Ferrari as well, just instantly picked off. TP is cancelled. Now, who was actually trying to TP out there? It was... Find out, well, I think that might have been the Wind Ranger. She doesn't have a TP, and yes, this will be a free top tower for the Sound of Carbon. So, Carbon playing very well. I mean, controlling, going for quick picks, getting back, and now see, well, he actually gets cursed up. Now, are they going to be able to get one more kill? No! BB's in, insanely well played by him, getting that fissure, and team will drop from this. There's no Blink Dagger up on Chosen One. And I mean, that is just the patient play that the Earthshaker provides.
Well, he's going to have to do something a little less patient if you want to stop this push, because Alvin now actually can make a lot of inroads. Do you actually see one actually dodges the shackle this time and picks up the Requiem, does a lot of damage with Donnie on the side, and does the mechanism. The first one gets destroyed. They've seen now getting very, very low. Lucky tries to finish the deal, cannot do so. A BD on the sideline gives it a cheeky shot, but this is not a man you want to fight toe to toe, and takes quite a bit of damage. Support coming in, but Smack on the sideline, gonna bring down Seam, does finish the job and picks up another one, turns his attention to Donnie, does fall himself, but does have that reincarnator as well as Lucka turns in, try to get the stomp on, but Ferrari silenced him up, and now Ferrari trying to survive the onslaught here, but the 600 range from Smacker. I think, yeah, I mean, it's a sniper ability. Oh,
they're going straight onto Raping Ninja right now. There is another stun, Red Fire Blast getting, and of course there's just the Slither and Crush. This is just turning from bad. Oh, that crit! Ultra kill for a Wraith King. You do not want to give him that. He's sitting on 3,200 gold.
Tell you what, it's almost a pity because I'm looking at how this game has gone, and Carbon have really controlled this matchup for a very long time now. And 20 minutes in, a sort of 2.5k gold advantage is not significant, and may not even be enough against Dota. But I'm just gonna say it, man. So far, they've been playing the better game of Dota.
Definitely, but big difference between this game and the previous game is this game, they're not letting Bravado run over them. This game, they're taking it on to Bravado. They want to take the fight, and they're following up as a team. instead of going in one by one. They have the Wraith King to go in there initially. After that, well, I want to see what the Wraith King. Do you think the Wraith King is just going to build up a heart here or actually go for damage?
I don't know. I don't know how you get such a massive explosion. I mean, this guy did not have this much cash a moment ago. So, you know, in his
That's
he was
what
probably
Ultra Kill does.
I think in his mind, he was probably like, okay, so, you know, I have this position, and we're at this point in the game. I reach this timing window, and in order to do that, I should look for this item. And bam! Oh, I have all this money now. And, well, if I was holding on to it, maybe even the Abyssal Blade, it's incredibly greedy, but, you know, if you have 8k almost for freezies, why not invest in some...
Engage with your top lane, and that's actually 2 heroes down while we're talking and admiring this Wraith King just smashing away at creeps. It might be another thing to also, it might just be a moonshot. It might be a moonshot, or it might be a Assault Cuirass. I think moonshot, Assault Cuirass into Abyssal is probably going to be his build. And let's actually have a look what's coming through. Maelstrom.
Yeah, I mean, this is... It's really funny because I remember having a conversation in last year with a former top player, random hero, and he believed that the perfect way to win every pubby was to play Wraith King, get Blade Mail, Blink Dagger, and Mjolnir, so that you just become this massive threat you don't really want to hit, but if you don't hit it, then he hits you, kind of thing. Perhaps Smack is from the same school of thought, although this is not pub Dota, but if he does manage to pick up the Mjolnir and he does sort of operate in that fashion, it's actually quite difficult for Bravado to deal with, because specifically things like the Wind Ranger, who hit you really, really quickly, she's going to be triggering a lightning storm.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Wraith King is actually... Why was the career stop? Oh. Okay, never mind. Wraith King's actually using the career to come back to him. The problem here is... Carbon should not let off. They have to keep the pressure, and by moving straight into Rosh, that's exactly what they're doing. I really like it.
Yeah, and they're sacrificing even the Shadow Shaman ward, so they definitely are going to smash this thing apart and want absolutely no contention here. And what I liked is that Smaka showed himself for the entire duration of this, so Bravado were completely unawares or unable to react to that. I gotta say, man, you know, the amplified damage from these really just makes it quick work.
Armor reduction 15 minutes for a duration of 25 seconds. I mean, this on top of a Wraith King that can crit you with 300%. It's just pretty ridiculous. Slowly but surely, Smaka moving to, well, you know, working his way here towards the bottom side. Who actually got the Aegis? It was the SF. Yes, good. And I mean, there's no glyph up right now here for the side of Bravado. Could, if Carbon actually know this, do you think that they might try just go for high ground?
High ground might still be pretty dodgy. I mean, fighting into the Arxia and the Earthshake on the high ground is no easy feat. Additionally, they probably are aware that Earthshaker doesn't have the Blink Dagger on, but they won't know how far off he is, so it's very risky because you might just pick it up at that moment and then you're walking into a perfect Echo Slam. What?
Axe. Smaka going straight in here, farming the Bravado stacks. I think he'll be very happy with that. Bravado is just losing more and more at this point. I mean, have a look at the net worth quickly. I mean, they did come back a little bit, but 3,000 now in favor from 2,000. So that's over 5,000 that it's gone towards Carbon in the past, 15 or so minutes. Experience, well, is also around the 4,000 mark. And I think Carbon just needs to keep the pressure up here on Bravado. Maybe try and go for a quick pick somewhere. But they have the heroes, they have the engagement to actually do this, and the smoke up. I mean, Earthshaker does not have a Blink Dagger, but they are smoked. Are we going to see anything coming through from Bravado? Well, there we are. We are seeing
yes.
Donnie getting a 2-hero vacuum walk up. Unfortunately, not enough. There's the blink in from LKR. Donnie's going to drop from this. Actually gets a full duration ultimate from the Skywrath Mage, and Smaka actually dropped. The Echo Slam was actually used as well there to the Slardar, but unfortunately Smaka's back, and Shadowfiend channeling up the Requiem does manage to pick off the last hero, and only, well, Vector ran away from that fight, not to be part of that at all, and a 3-4-1 trade-off going the way of Carbon.
There are going to be some nervous Bugatti owners here, man. This is getting a little bit close, right? I mean, I think Bravado are they have a very healthy lead at stage, but they're not letting up. As you said, they mustn't let up, and they're not. They're really
You mean
forcing.
Middle tower.
Excuse me, Carbon. And the thing that's even worse about that and scarier, if you will, is that the Aegis wasn't even used. So they won that fight just old school, and Bravado will have to go through that with the Shadow Fiend coming online again during the next engagement. The only issue is that it has been a while since they took yeah, there we go, the 2-minute timer just popped up. So there's a sort of 2-minute window to make something happen. They want to make real use of it. But it'll be quite easy for Bravado just to sort of push out a couple of lanes and avoid that happening. At the moment, we're seeing uncharacteristic movements from them. They're on the defense, and they're showing that they have a sort of knowledge of how the game works, because they're all in their jungle and not showing themselves on the map too much. Tell that to Donny. I don't think he's ever aware that he's behind ever. I mean,
Donny's just like, I'm ahead, even if you're like, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. Prove it. And you're like, what's replay? Then he's like, no. The replay's wrong. Replay's wrong.
yeah. I mean, Guy has been. This is something we spoke about between the drafts. Is that Darkseer is not a particularly flashy hero. And I mean, it kind of shows, like, he's trying to make some plays. He initiated that fight there. It wasn't the most amazing initiation. He's sort of stretching, trying to get something out of it. They desperately need Slam available to them with better ease from her BD. I mean, he just taken down with such. It was so casual, and he was literally removed from all important aspects of that fight. Because if he had gotten off a big Echo Slam, it's a different ball game entirely. Instead, he had a one-man Echo Slam who was completely alone. And he was completely alone.
Well, see what Bravado, and I'm also calling them Bravado. What Carbon is actually going to make of this right now. The 10-second BKB is up here on the Shadow Fiend, and I mean, that's quite huge. So, looking at the cores, it's a 10-second BKB for the Shadow Fiend. The Red King's got full Mjolnir up and 26,000 gold. The offlane Slardar's got Blink and Force moving towards his BKB. And of course, these supports are doing okay. Glimmer Cape up on the Winter Wyvern, and last but not least, also Glimmer Cape up on the Shadow Fiend. So the side of Carbon, I mean, they're basically kitted to take fights. Earthshaker, no Blink up just yet, just Mana Boots. Darkseer is doing quite okay, Blink and Mech. Spectre, of course, does have the Radiant, so will start becoming a big nuisance. Looking towards that Reaver, that Heart. Skyrath Mage, not really sitting on anything at this point. And Wind Ranger does have a Aghanim Scepter and BKB, but it just seems like the items for of Carbon, they have itemized for a fight right now.
Yeah, that's the point. They're ready to rumble. They literally have everything they could possibly want in this environment. I mean, 30 minutes and they've got a lot of net worth on the Wraithing, who has. It's funny because it's not so much that he has individually been great. He's been solid, is probably the best way to describe it. He's been just making the right decisions and being in the right place at the right time. But the play of Carbon in general has just supported it so well. I mean, they've all come to the party here, and I don't think the same can really be said for Bravado. They've just sort of felt a little bit
They're trying to backdoor
lackluster in some of these fights.
They're like trying to backdoor the tier 2 tower and just been like hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. But Ferrari does put a ward down, and that's just on the edge of the sentry. Wow. Unfortunate. And yeah, those of you guys are wondering who we are Nav TV. I'm Reddit. Joining me is Halbert. We're casting the South African Gigabyte Dota 2 Challenge main event, the finals. Winner here gets $1,000 in cold hard cash. Whoever gets second gets 600, and third, we already have our third prize, and that is Newbie, or White Rabbit Gaming Newbie, as they were now only recently picked up by White Rabbit Gaming. Now, as you can see, LKR is busy running into all of these nookies and crannies. He's basically, trying to see if Ripping Ninja on Spectre actually has his Radiance on. So anywhere where they'll find the Radiance, then they'll try and engage. Now, Raping Ninja did this previously, where every time that he was hiding, he would turn off his Radiance. And we saw, I think it was Chadawi from WRG yesterday, actually getting put out because he didn't turn off his Radiance.
Those little things, man.
Yeah, it's those little things.
I gotta say, as we hear, we're watching Carbon and Bravado, but I gotta say I was really impressed by Rabbit Gaming in this tournament. They did a pretty exceptional job, and I think taking, I mean,
Look here. Raping Ninja turned off Radiant instantly.
So dull. And you know what, that mattered because Scant is completely unaware as to the ongoings here. But yeah, I mean, I just gotta give credit to White Rabbit again. Like taking a game or taking a series of energy is no easy feat, and they took this raid. I mean, we could just as easily be watching Bravado versus White Rabbit Gaming right now. I mean, that's how close they came. So shout out to them. But at the moment, Carbon, who I would have said has a harder chance of beating Bravado in the sense that their White Rabbit Gaming is a little bit sort of hard to understand. They play very, very random Dota at times, which might be an issue for Bravado.
I think that's just
Carbon,
Doms, dude.
Yeah, I think Carbon at the moment, they're actually really giving us a good show, so this is excellent.
Definitely. The rush will be up within the next couple of seconds. I think if they just stand here and wait, no, just wait. Oh, that timing from that timing. As Scant runs in, are they actually going to drop the woods for this? I don't think they will. I think they want to get the Aegis and then actually go for high ground push because they have what they want for high ground push now.
Well, I tell you what, once they have this, it's on, right? I mean, they have all the tier 2 towers, they have the items that they want to fight. It doesn't get a huge amount better than this. I mean, you could be safe and say that you're not ready to go up high ground and you just want to dominate the map. That's a completely acceptable way to play. But there's also nothing stopping them from this point from taking the fight to border on their high ground. And once again, this Earthshaker still does not have his blink dagger, and it's really unfortunate because for Bravado, they desperately need that ensured echo slam. At the moment, if he gets a good one off, it will be a little bit of a miracle.
Yeah, well,
oh, wow,
here comes Donnie actually getting a very good wall back combo. Scant gonna drop instantly. Shadow correct. It does nothing up against Spectre, and this is just going horribly for the side of Carbon. Well, only it's just been a 1-1 trade-off at this point. Smacker, is he going to be able to? Are they going to be able to do anything up against Raping Ninja? They are going in, but the stun coming through, and this fight is just going from bad to worse. Unfortunately, are they going to be able? No, it's just going to be a Raping Ninja running in with a heart, and that is going to be 5 heroes down. Echo Slam being used just to try and secure the kill here on the Wraith King. Last but not least, it's going to be chosen. I mean, what the actual hell just happened here?
I'll tell you what, that was a 7-for-2 trade. That's what just happened, and that's crazy. I can't. What's more crazy about that is it's not just a 7-for-2 trade. It's a 7-for-2 trade where you don't lose a single core. Now, maybe you could sort of argue that Saka tried to zone the opponent. He was deep inside that fight and trying to beat up on the squishies. But he actually got very little done during that phase, and it just allowed Raping Ninja and friends to go absolutely ham on the people who really mattered on the side of Carbon. Now, I'll tell you what, we were saying before, maybe Carbon have Bravado's number in this matchup, but it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, you have an Aegis up, you have all the items you want, and now you're further behind than you were before. If they can't break the high ground then, how do they do it when all of a sudden
they aren't really further behind than they were before because they were ahead before.
No, I mean, they're further, they're as far ahead.
That's okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, thing as well is that bolstered everybody. I mean, Raping Ninja's now he's finished up his heart now and a Gasher, and he had about 3.8k by the end of that fight again. A little sad to see the Earthshaker die though. Once again, it would have been great if he had survived it, and well, it's not getting easier as they do pick off a kill in Scant as well.
Yeah. And Bravado's going back, Carbon's going back to farming right now. I honestly think that they've missed their timing window with this Wraith King.
Well, I mean, yes and no, right? I mean, Dota is not necessarily a game where you have a hero and therefore you win. And I think a lot of players get trapped in sort of mindset as, oh, this hero has farm now, farm guys, okay, GG. But really what it means is you just have to play the game slightly differently and not just consider team fight the only way in. Spectre as a hero, he likes to sort of be on his own mission, and you can see at the moment he's pretty much isolated. If you consider that if all 5 of Carbon's heroes were there right now, they would kill that Spectre. Now, that I think is what they need to look for. Find important pick-offs and then go for the push. I think they would have realized that after that last fight.
Well, let's have a look here and see. I mean, it is 35 minutes in. This is the best out of 5. We still have a possible 3 games after this one. And, well, This game is not done by any means at all. Have a look at gold graph. It went from 2.5 in the favor of Bravado to 7.5 in the favor of Carbon, and one team fight brought it down to 1,000 in favor of Bravado. One team fight.
That hurts, man. That really hurts. All that hard work is just completely undone now. It bodes very well for Carbon though, just as a sort of a rule, because they've shown that they can compete against Bravado. So regardless of what happens in this matchup, there's still just 3 games that you need to win the entire tournament. So even if they lose, I think they would lose feeling a lot better than how they did in the first matchup, where they're like, okay guys, we can still do this. We can still come back and beat these guys. But you know, they don't get ahead of ourselves, because this might still be 1-1 now at the end of this matchup.
Yep, and it is going to be a Scotty being picked up by Shadow Fiend shortly. Needs a couple hundred odd more. The Abyssal Blade has been picked up by Wraith King. On that bottom fight, I honestly think there was 3 different fights happening at the same time, and that is most likely what was the cause of Carbon's failure. Is they need to wait. Illuminati confirmed. There you go. They need to focus on the other heroes. They all have single target focusing, lineups with the Wraith King, etc. They should focus the heroes and fight together instead of trying to fight split up.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Wraith King did what you sort of expect of a core, or at least a core in the nature of Wraith King, as he tried to create space for his team to operate, but instead, Wraith King Ninja just did it better, and in the end, there was like just a space where they had these 2 heroes that are going to come back to life, nothing to support them.
Well, got an interesting question on the Twitch stream. Why doesn't Wraith King have a BKB?
In everything but judgment.
Yeah,
Good question.
it is a good question. I think you'll probably find that something like the Blade Mail can certainly be swapped out for it. And I guess, with a Wraith King, you kind of want to soak up damage anyways, so it's sort of some Smacker's doing it intentionally. You go, oh, I forgot about this item. However, I do think that after that last fight, it is certainly something that he needs to pick up, because, well, if they can't enable him, they can't zone him, right?
Well, and that's a big problem with the Wraith King. I mean, he does... Oh, gosh, still trying to find any that was here on the bottom lane. Wraith King is kited at this point way too easily. If he doesn't have the BKB up, he should be able to run in. They won't be able to stun him, and he can go ham. But I think what both these 2 teams are waiting for now is this next rush timer before they really do anything. And I think that time, though, the Spectre's sitting on 2,200 HP now. Last time, not 2,200 HP, 3,000 HP and 2,300 gold. The last time we saw a anti-mage that had double farm of a Spectre with this same item build, and the Spectre wrecked the anti-mage.
Well,
That's just, unfortunately, of course, it's never in a one-on-one scenario. It's just in a team fight, a Spectre with only this farm is so much more worth than a carry with the same amount of farm the Wraith King has, because your supports instantly die. So they have to predetermine everywhere where they want to throw their spells, and your carry just gets slowed up. I wouldn't even be surprised if Spectre decides to just for the time being, put up a diffusal blade just to purge everything off the enemy and slow them down, because of course your diffusal blade has a 0-second cooldown at this point.
Yeah, the thing about diffusal blade, I think, on Spectre is that it's kind of the old school methodology of running her, in that, beforehand when, I'm talking like a really long ago, when diffusal blade actually built into Manta, I believe, it made a lot of sense, right? Because it just pulled up something nice. But I think, something like Scotty is more sort of akin to what he really wants, because it's going to have the same effect as, with the slows. But more importantly, it busts up his HP, so he's going to be able to disperse more damage.
Yeah, well, we do see a big engagement coming through here. Nothing's actually been, no one's actually been killed just yet. Now it is Anti-Raping Ninja getting killed onto the Shadow Shaman, and are they going to be able to do anything? Smack is very deep right now. He is, of course, being healed up. And there's a big wall vacuum coming here from Don. They are trying to engage straight onto Donny. Donny might actually die from this one. He does, and of course the Abyssal has not been used yet. LKR is trying to out of that one. The Chakra Shot does land onto Smacker. Smacker has, well, there's big Echo Slam coming. And at this point, I think Shadowfiend is in big trouble. Baka is going to use the Abyssal Blade straight onto the Windrunner. Is he going to get a few luck crits? No, Windrunner actually does use his Windrun, and this might just be Smacker down as well. Full 5-man team wipe. I think this might be the end of the, well, the beginning of the end.
Yeah, that's a very big gold swing. I mean, that's what, about 4k. In fact, over 4k. So they're just getting so much value out of it, but it just gets scarier and scarier because we're talking a little bit about how, you know, Raping would probably prefer something like a Skadi over a Diffusal Blade. Well, he has it now if he wants to. Literally just toss it all over to the Secret Shop, sell his Vanguard, and yeah, that's another point I want to make, is that at this point in the game, you know, you reach that point where, you know, Raping Ninja has, he's not a 6-item hero, he's a 7-item hero because he can't pick up the refresh orb and just become an absolute nightmare to deal with. Yes, because he's a courier though. That's a good idea. Is it the refresher? I think you probably know it's in the quarterstaff, so probably going for the butterfly. That's pretty good as well, I guess. I mean, just going to increase his damage output. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it because you obviously don't get the damage out of it, but it always hurts a lot, so it's just a different mindset of playing the hero.
And with this Aegis up on the Windrunner, I honestly think that, you know, Bravado's probably just going to group up and go in for that death ball. Maybe just fast buyback first on the Spectre.
Yeah, I think that there's no reason to rush this. They probably had a little bit of a scare, but now they're almost 10k the black at the point. I think that you'll probably find is that they also will be quite on this next Roshan, because that is also a cheese Roshan, and it's pretty close around the corner.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, the reason why we've been focusing on the Spectre so much is because the big buff on Spectre is you return damage before any damage reduction, you know, gets applied on top of itself. So physical damage resistance is 50%. Now, you return all the damage first, then only a reduction gets applied, and then you take the reduced damage. That is the new change on Spectre, and to be honest, that's probably one of the biggest changes of 6.85, and you will start seeing Spectre in a lot more, you know, comps, because how do you kill him? And the more damage you do, the more damage you're doing to yourself, and it's just the support from the side of Carbon, which is extremely soft. So with one Spectre ultimate, they die. That's usually just because of the Radiance Burn. That's why we're putting a lot of emphasis into the Spectre. However, the Wraith King can, if he, you know, gets lucky with a few crits, as well as the Slardar. They can take on the Spectre, and especially the Shadow Fiend later on during the game, when the Shadow Fiend does quite a lot of damage, and actually has a crit or two in her sleeve and an MKB. That might be completely different, but Elker actually just gets engaged upon. He gets blown up right there. There's the Spectre ultimate. The wall vac comes from Dog. Unfortunately, that just puts everyone on such low life. Look at Dreamy. It's just the Radiance Burn, trying to do as much damage as possible onto the Spectre, but look, you're just hitting the Spectre and nothing really is happening, while the rest of your team is, I mean, this is the best tank in the game, is Spectre. You do not get any better tanks.
This is not here, there's so many tanks in this game, but I'll tell you what, he is tanky, and he is going to win this game. Unfortunately for Carbon, just not enough in the tank to take Bravado. It was very promising. However, in the end, it's the age-old foe that comes out ahead.
Yeah, well, that's a full team wipe, and I think this might just be game. Once again, I think personally Carbon missed their timing window with the Spectre, with the Wraith King. They did the exact same thing that Energy did yesterday. I just went back to farming instead of, when you had the rush, push the advantage. Take the racks, take the you know, tier 3 force it, do chip damage, come back. And they just took too long, and then after the second rush, when they tried to do that, they just got team wiped. It's a picture perfect replay versus with what they did versus what WRG did versus Energy last night. And well, congratulations to Bravado for beating the side of Carbon, but the game's not done yet. It's a best out of 5. This was the best out of 3. GG. It's not. Carbon can still come back. So guys, last words from you, Halbert, before we head over to our game number 3.
Well, I think that if Carbon keep improving at the rate that they are, they're going to provide in the next matchup, right? I mean, the difference in the first match and the second one was huge.
Oh, yes.
But, you know, all jokes aside, I think that Carbon have shown that they can compete and that they can take against Bravado. They'd be able to take it all the way to the end. Bravado had a little bit of a scare, I think, in that matchup, which probably means they'll be even more determined in the next one. Carbon, at the same time, will also, okay, we can do this. This is better. We can finish. But beating Bravado Motion 3 times in a row, oof, easy task.
Well, game 3 will be coming up live shortly, guys. Stay tuned. And for those of you that don't know who we are, I'm Ridditz, joining me was Hobart. We're from Nav TV, the host of this tournament. Special thanks to Gigabyte for sponsoring this. $2,000 up in cold hard cash, and of course Dota 2 Lounge for listing the games. Thanks a lot to everyone involved. We'll see you guys in around 5 or so minutes. Okay, guys, welcome back to the third match, possibly final match, hopefully not final match, of Carbon versus Bravado. This is the main event finals. The main finals, however you want to see it. It's a best out of 5. 0 game advantage. Bravado did get the pick advantage, so they got to choose first pick or Dire Radiant, whichever one they wanted to choose. After that, it went over to Carbon. Now it's back to Bravado. So Bravado can seal the deal right now. They can walk away after this match with $1,000 in their back pocket. Carbon, regardless of, well, if they lose, they still walk around with 600. And of course, WRG playing phenomenally well, that one well. They walked away with $400. They ended up in third. This, I mean, this could be it.
Yep.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
It's
Reserve time. Dire team ban.
Well, Carbon banned out the anti-mage once again up against the side of Bravado. That's the thing. Bravado win their lanes. They make space. They make room for Raping Ninja to farm. And if you give that free farm to an anti-mage, well, you're just asking for trouble. The Tusk and the Lina was banned out by the side of Bravado, and Carbon decided to ban out the Bounty Hunter. So that does leave the Earthshaker first pick. Or the Winter Wyvern possibly first pick, but I think it will most likely just be that ES.
However, I'm a little bit surprised they came out this early. There was a lot left in the pool that they could have considered before Scarlet Mage and still maybe pick up Scarlet Mage later on. But it, you know, it might be a case where Scan's looking for, well, I was going to say some sort of, you know, not necessarily pocket strat, but some specific way of playing that really is important to incorporate Scarlet Mage. And the Clockwork, you know, that combination really is strong. So probably why he opted to get it up so early.
It is. The Clockwork Scarlet Mage combo is strong, but it's only strong early and early to mid game phase. After that, it starts fading off with, you know, Scarlet Mage. So this hopefully means that Carbon wants to take this game early on, and I think that is the only way that they can is go early. Don't try and go late up against Bravado. We saw clearly that you can't do that. Maybe try and so the first one was just playing standard Dota. Bravado stomped them. Second one was with you're trying to go for that mid-game type of lineup with the Wraith King. It worked, but couldn't finish. Even though they had a high ground pusher with the Shadow Shaman, Bravado always tried to take the fights out of their base to get the wards dropped, and then as soon as the wards are dropped, try to re-engage. And well, this time maybe Carbon's going to try and go for that early type of draft.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if they do something a little bit different. But I also think that if they stick to on the previous matchup, they should be in good stead. I mean, I don't think that the last matchup was by any means a train smash for them. They would actually probably feel a lot better going to this one than they did the first. I just do worry that what are they going to give away for that Scarlet Mage and Clockwork pick so early? Because I mean, Queen of Pain and Winter Waven are two very, very powerful heroes. And arguably both that I would prefer to pick up for both the Scarlet Mage and the Clockwork. So maybe making life a little bit hard for themselves in the early draft, but Scant, that's the way he plays. I think it's important just to sort of acknowledge that, these sides, they have their certain strengths, they have comfort heroes as well, and I think Scant. I actually wouldn't even be sad to see the Bane come out here, because I think if you're gonna go all in, right, you got to go in with the heroes that you're a specialist in, and maybe it's time to see those sort of heroes come out here for Carbon in this matchup.
Yeah, well, I honestly don't think a early Bane pickup was worth it. You've got a few other picks that you can try and go before Bravado picks it up. But fans at this point, and the Phantom Lancer being banned out by Bravado, are we going to see, there's no carry being picked up yet by Carbon. Spectre's still in the pool for both teams. And it's going to be interesting to see what Carbon decides to come out with, because Carbon's drafts are always different. They're always unconventional. Sometimes Scant overthinks it and overdrafts, which drafts himself into a corner. But other times he just comes out with, something phenomenal and something spectacular. And let's hope that it's one of those, so that we can push this to a game 4 and possibly a game 5.
I think that's a very fair comment. Scant is certainly the one of the greatest brains in South African Dota, and he definitely can surprise you if you're not sort of prepared for that mentality.
I mean, he cast with Capitalist and Toby, like over the past few months, he's been the analyst with Capitalist, with Toby, with some of the top casters in the world, because of what he can offer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be a little bit difficult to compare him to the likes of Syndran or one of those guys as far as, what their knowledge of the game is like. But it's certainly fair to say that he has a great and I say this all the respect in the world, but I think that his sort of mechanical ability is sort of a shadow of what his capability is as knowledge of the game goes, because he really does understand this game in an insane amount. And I think that, just for the record, before anybody hates me for it, I do think Scant's like a really solid player. But I think his sort of skill is at South African level as far as playing the game goes. Sort of knowledge of the game is of an international caliber when it comes to just understanding and drafting.
No, definitely. And Earthshaker is being picked up now by Carbon. I mean, I'm so surprised that it was left this late, but this does leave the Darkseer in the pool with the Winter Wyvern. You do see the Shadow Fiend being banned out from Bravado, as well as the Huskar. Huskar ban is most likely saying that Bravado wants to pick up a lot of Magical Burst.
Yeah, it certainly would appear that way. I think it's also important for the side of Carbon as well to make sure that they have the sort of damage output to deal with Winter Waven. It must be said as well, Skyrath's pretty solid at doing that himself, so that's pretty good news for the side of Carbon in the hopes of taking this game forward. I do worry though about the fact that if they do get this Dark now, they do combine well with Winter Waven,
and the Queen of Pain.
I almost want to say it's a poor man's black hole, but it's not actually. It's potentially better if you get that combination out.
The one big thing though is, you mentioning black hole. Wyvern used to even work on BKB tiers. In other words, if you curse up the clock and Earthshaker and Skyrath have BKBs on, they would also still attack the clock. Now, that's a big nerf hit on the Winter Wyvern. If you have a BKB hero, of course, Winter Wyvern can still curse you, but if he curses anyone else, you aren't forced into attacking them. So, a little change up there, which has nerfed Winter Wyvern quite a bit, especially up against heroes like a Gyrocopter that will always go for a BKB, those kind of heroes. But Silencer coming from Carbon, and is this a mid Silencer or a carry Silencer?
Well, I'm guessing it has. I mean, look, you both Clockwork and Earthshaker can sort of rotate around the sort of core positions, so you could have.
You broke up there. You guess. Guess it has to be.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Earthshaker could be playing the off lane, right? But there's a Clockwork already there. So to me, it sort of strikes me as that Earthshaker and Scarlet Mage will be the two supports. So I think a Silencer in the core position is on the cards.
But mid or carry?
Oh right. I think that. Well. I would kind of like to see Silencer be played in the sort of safe lane position if you're going up against Queen of Pain. Certainly Silencer can compete. He's got a good spell set against, you know, most mids. But the possibility of Queen of Pain just stomping you is still there, so it's pretty risky. And also, if Silencer does get beaten, he's kind of, then he just becomes an LT, and then he may as well be a support.
Alchemist being picked up here by Bravado. Now Alchemist has a 5 times bounty ruin, so I think that's like what, 450 odd gold that he gets every time he picks up a bounty rune. It always used to be 400. That was 4 times, so yeah, then it's 500 gold he gets every time he picks up a bounty rune. That is quite significant. Now, I would not be surprised right now if we see a Queen of Pain safe lane with an Alchemist mid.
I guess it could certainly work. I mean, Alchemist was run as a middle for quite a while. Also very flexible here. I mean, you may still see the Alchemist that support. I say this only because we don't really know what the new patch has in store for us, but my sort of thoughts of the matter would probably be that you'd want to go Alchemist in the safe lane position, because he's really going to struggle against Silencer mid. I mean, he obviously has his acid spray that he can use to sort of disable some of the effects of the Silencer, but the likelihood is that Silencer will be able to bully him out in the lane.
5 seconds.
Well, that just means he needs to get his bounty runes up, and then of course he outforms anyone from a safe lane. From a safe lane Alchemist, it's very difficult to rotate through to actually get those bounty runes, and a Legion commander pick up from Carbon. So Legion, I mean, Legion can still go mid, can go off lane. Not off lane, sorry. He can, but Legion can go mid or safe lane, and Silencer can go mid or safe lane. So I think both of these two, drafts, they're sort of feeling each other out right now to see who is going where, and then they just switch around those two. But we will most likely see with the picks who actually picks, if it's Chosen One or Smacker that picks up the Silencer. Now RDK actually played a carry Silencer, it was a couple days ago, going into a Shadow Blade and then just building up pure damage or pure intel from there. It worked out. I mean, the Silencer had the same level as farm as an anti-mage, and Silencer killed an anti. But Bravado decided to pick up the Wraith King right now. So, well, Alchemist, Draping Ninja, seen Queen of Pain. It will most likely, I think, be a scant Wraith King. We've seen this before from him in this competition as well. Let's have a look.
It's a pretty interesting one. I'm loving the fact that we're getting some changes to the picks lately with the new meta. Team's still feeding it out and trying to get a handle of what exactly it has in store. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a very interesting game. We get to see some fresh faces. What I do like from one side, by the way, is that one of the issues when you have the likes of a Silence on your team is you're not entirely sure exactly where you, or like when exactly to ulti. Like, what is the perfect moment? And it's all about like a judgment call during that fight to pick up the perfect time. Unless there's a very clear initiator. Now, I think that Legion Commander is one of those clear initiators.
Have you disconnected? Okay, Halbert has disconnected again. He'll be reconnecting on the thoughts that he was saying, the initiation coming through from the Legion commander and the clock. Legion can actually get a couple of dual victories off pretty early, especially with Smack on the Silencer. But let me introduce the side of Carbon Gaming right now. It is going to be Chosen One running the Legion commander, Smacker on the Silencer, so most likely safe lane Silencer. Dreamy handling the Scarlet Mage. Offlane will be handled by LKR. Scant is playing the Earthshaker. From the side of Bravado, Ferrari, sorry, I said Scant on the Wraith King. I'm sorry. Because Scant actually did play the Wraith King earlier on this comp as well. The Wraith King being played here by Ferrari, Raping Ninja on the carry Alchemist, as well as Habibi on the Winter Wyvern, El Capitano. Seam is on the Queen of Pain, actually moving towards the bottom lane, and Donny is off lane on the Dark Seer once again. So I think it is going to be a middle Raping Ninja, middle Alchemist, and of course I see some of the people connecting yet, you have not, and a safe lane Seam Queen of Pain. Not quite sure yet. Oh, do you see a little bit of engagement coming through here onto the Alchemist? Steam is quite far in. Of course, that has not skilled anything just yet. Are we going to see any kind of engagement? There's a wraparound here from Scat. They actually want to go here onto Steam. Will they be able to hit the stun? The stun is there on Steam, but of course, Steam gets blocked in, and she actually blinks away. Unfortunately, being blocked on the wrong side of the river, and Steam won't manage to make his way out. Quickly have a look here. Dogs here activated the bounty on top, and it was the Wraith King activating the bounty rune on the bottom lane. So Alchemist going middle lane here with, well, you know, Raping Ninja going middle lane here with Alchemist. Hold on that thought. We might see an engagement here. Raping Ninja is going to be stunned up here by Scant. Scant just waiting it out, and Raping Ninja starts running away. He's going to be okay. Scant blocking up Chosen One quite a bit here as well.
Yeah.
And because that's 500 gold that you know Raping Ninja would have got.
Well, to get him is level 2, so it means he's going to be able to help Raping Ninja out a little bit in lane.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Habibi could have stayed mid while the Alchemist, you know, rotated to top. But we'll have a look now. The bottle is up for the Alchemist, and Habibi is probably just going to try and stack a few times. Having a look here at the last hit and the denies. Well, bottom lane, LKR doing too badly on this clock, sitting 3-0. Off lane though, Donny on this Darks here, sitting on 7-0. I mean, he's doing quite well, but the Seam is just like out farming everyone at this point, 12-3, and he actually might. No, blinks back. I thought he would have tried to go for that dive, just not a high enough level just yet.
Well, this game's actually looking pretty even so far. I mean, there's been quite a few tussles, but no fallen just yet. But I think this is the kind of game that's going to explode because both these sides have heroes that really want to fight, and I think from the side of Carbon, it probably has to happen a little bit earlier, and that's going to force the issue for Bravado. But it should be quite exciting.
Yeah, no, definitely. We do see KR move all the way back to base. He does have his boots up at least, and he'll be coming back bottom. But to be honest, I think Steam should have this one. I'm sure most likely go for a 2-1-2 type of build and try and kill the clock as soon as clock hits level 6 if she has enough mana. And middle lane though, what type of build? It's a 2-0-2 with another stun here onto Raping Ninja. It's not going to do that much. Scan's still sitting on level 2. Regen Ruin on the bottom lane, nothing on the top, and it's just going to be Ferrari activating this Regen Ruin with Raping Ninja. Well, still just trying to farm. He has to be very, very careful here, and that's just, the blaze coming through from Habibi, saving Raping Ninja right there. And Raping Ninja is struggling a little bit here in the middle lane.
Can I just create that as well? Because I'm pretty sure the attack animation triggered before we saw the Cold Embrace come out. So obviously the Cold Embrace actually locking hero into place.
Engagement here. Okay, hold that thought. Are we going to see an aggressive blink? And there's another stun in 1 second. Onto the Wraithing, but the Wraithing doesn't have any mana right now. Unfortunately, here comes the Arctic Burn. Winter Wyvern will get one more hit needed. And that is onto Seam. And back onto the middle lane though. Chosen One does actually go and get the kill on the Alchemist. Now, I unfortunately have to bring this up once again. Sure, Alchemist can farm mid. You know what? if they would have secured the top, because there was no one going for the top bounty, that's 500 gold. There was no one going for the bottom bounty, that was 500 gold. There was no one going for that bottom bounty again, except for members of his team, that's 500 gold. That's 1,500 gold they have not given through to him. And I understand, sure, you want to give it a little bit to your supports, but that would have put him heavily in the lead in regards to net worth. And with 1,500 gold, that's 4 boots up. And then you basically get where I'm coming from with this, is you're picking an alchemist. His strongest strength right now after this latest patch is the bounty runes that have it's ×5.
Oh, he's in trouble again here. Fortunately, BD is in this round. Yeah, it is a little bit surprising just in general that well, hold on, C1 actually taking a lot of damage, but no unstable concoction available for Wrecking Ninja, so he's gonna be able to walk it off. I wanted to say though, the effect of Carbon here has been pretty interesting because there was never really a huge opportunity other than that pretty sublime Fisher block early on from Scant, then to actually kill off the Alchemist with these rotations, with this particular setup. But what it did do is it provided a huge amount of space for the Legion Commander to operate in. At the moment is pretty much right up there with the safe laners as far as last hits goes, but also has the kill to name. So
Yay!
it's quite it's quite clear why it is that they I mean, I'd say it's quite obvious that what they're hoping to happen is that Chosen One will get quite a bit of farm in this middle lane and then transition into a global menace for the side of Bravado. And actually,
Rapid Ninja has to be very careful right now. He actually is not going to be dueled up. Is it going to come? I don't think that they want to risk it right now. He does have 1,000 gold actually going towards that hand of Midas. Chosen One, he wants to really go in, but there's just no support for him. He wants to try and contest the stack that the Alchemist is farming. And what? More TPs coming in here from the side of, Bravado. Are they going to actually be able to do anything? It's Chosen 1 versus 3 at this point. And, well, here's the backstab coming through from Ferrari as well. Chosen 1 is dead with this. Well, it's a lot of rotations and movements. Unfortunately, just overstaying his welcome by quite some bit. Well, by quite a bit. That does leave... That is space created. Caused 4 hero rotations through to the middle end.
That's pretty amazing, right? That he was able to spend such a lot of time in the opponent's jungle and just frustrate them. I think one of the things that people often forget about it is that there's a case for not just playing your own game, but rather making your opponents unable to play the game they want to by just irritating. It's why a hero like Bounty Hunter has that also very annoying effect. I mean, it's not just the track hold. It's the fact that you can also, frustrate your players and become something that they always need to consider. Like, is this player doing something irritating? And Chosen One is doing a good job of just disrupting the flow of Bravado. However, he's probably doesn't want to die doing it.
Now, well, let's have a look here on the middle lane. The stun actually does go onto Raping Ninja. He does get silenced up. Unfortunately, C1 can't come any closer. He gets Wraithfire blasted by the Wraith King, and they actually do manage to get the 1 kill on the Skywrath Mage. Trying to get a little bit more onto C1, and C1 has to be very careful. There's no level 6 up on the Winter Wyvern, so unfortunately, no curse.
So before I disconnected, one of the things I wanted to point out is that one of the great reasons for one of the reasons I like silence in this particular lineup is that when you engage with the Legion Commander, it's like a great sign. Okay, now's the time to silence, because people are going to want to desperately save their ally. Now, all these fights, they've kind of been Carbon sort of picking the fight and not necessarily coming out on top. However, once they have the silence up, it's going to be a lot easier for Chosen One to actually bully his opponents. So, although there is a decent lead going the way of Bravado at the moment, I think that there's still an opportunity for Carbon to come back.
Yeah, no, definitely. Raping Ninja, though, does have... Well, Alchemist has a... Yeah, sorry, I thought that was Chosen One. Alchemist does have a Medallion of Courage up, 1,600 gold as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes, straight into a Hand of Midas build here. Top lane, we are seeing a big rotation coming from the side of, Carbon. And unfortunately, they can't really do anything. It's still a level 4 Earthshaker. Can't do too much. Stacks happening. It's just standard farming from Chosen One. And of course, having four levels up in overwhelming odds, it really does help out. So we just look at how much damage that does.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised that Legion Commander isn't picked up more often. The right here is backing up. She can really pack a punch. So Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, can certainly hurt, and also goes quite nicely with the fact that they have these long-range engagements. So, you know, likely what's going to happen is when you engage from such a distance, it's because you're looking for a pick-off, and then you know you have the opportunity with the Legion Commander to follow up in a big way.
I know, definitely. Wraith King is level 6 though right now. Still has one level to be able to, if he wants to use reincarnation, he can. But the Queen of Pain ultimate coming through. They have still not killed Chosen One yet. Now the counter engagement is there from Kara's base. Kara's base does get stunned up from the Wraithfire blast, but unfortunately it still needs one more hit. Scan comes in with a enchant totem. It's just so much damage coming through. The hook shot now is on from LKR. Does manage to trap in Donny, but he's just about to die. And this is the part. Basically, Smacker is just coming in, doing quite a bit. But unfortunately, it's a 3-for-2 trade-off, and the blink is there, making it a 4-for-2. To be honest, it was a messy engagement from both teams. Not a lot of targeting coming on. 3 fights happening at the same time, and well, Chosen One wants to run in. He wants to try and get that quick duel. He does manage to get the duel. Will they be able to actually kill him in time? No. He gets the duel with the hatred, and he's starting to run away. That's a free 10 damage just for him. Hatred
gotta
OP,
say,
man.
yeah, that was really well read by him as well. He actually was aware that the Winter Waven didn't have enough mana to, or probably mana, but he may have even seen a cooldown for the Cold Embrace. So he knew he could get away with that sort of play. Maybe a little bit fortunate he wasn't brought down in the process, but you know, you can credit it to just good decision making, and that did actually change the nature of that fight a little bit, because it was pretty much a dead rubber fight. They picked up the Wraith King, but you know, it was a trade that they would be very happy to take, and that makes it a little less painful for them.
I mean, I'm surprised Wraith King didn't have his reincarnation up there. Well, his level skilled into reincarnation. I mean, then, you know, would have been a 4-for-1 fight. But, you know, having a look quickly at the Alchemist right now, Alchemist is sitting on a full solo crest.
That's pretty painful. I mean, it's one of those items that actually can be incredibly frustrating if used well. But just to go back to Wraith King, I actually think the Wraith King, I'm not sure if he used a stun and then he got caught by the cogs. I'm not sure if the cogs were actually the thing that set him off, or if he sort of decided to die. But scanned in the bottom lane, there's quite a bit of damage, but he caught on the right side of his fissure, so he'll be able to walk out of it.
Wraith King didn't have reincarnation skilled up at level 6.
I think he did. I was watching for it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, let's have a look here on the middle side. Raping Ninja, they want to go in here with Dreamy. Dreamy being quite aggressive, but standing in the asset. I mean, just look at how much damage that does. He is being silenced up right now. This might actually, well, there's a global silence, and the double stun coming through on Legion Commander. Legion Commander has to be very careful. Chosen One, are they actually going to go in? No, it's just going to be a hook. Well, hook shot straight in, actually saving Dreamy. Okay, running out. So 2 heroes from Carbon sitting on next to no next to no life. And hold on, they do want to go onto Chosen, but very good block with the cogs, and that's a cogs block, not a
I see what you
block
did there.
happening right there. Ah, thank you. I'm extremely tired. I mean, casting 12 hours a day for the past couple of days. Oh, deny!
Oh,
Okay, come on, man. Be less pro. I mean, seriously, dude.
That's pretty funny, at the very least. It's never nice to be the alchemist in that position when this cheeky little paw comes in and just... It's a shovel, really. You just get a shovel. No tower for you, sir. It's ours now. All the same, it is an important tower to take out. Obviously, there's a lot of ability for them to work at the moment. They have taken down the bottom tower as well, so pretty much just want to take down this bottom tier 2, and they'll be in quite a good position. Ooh, but as you mentioned, dagger.
Like daggers up on the Legion Commander, we might see the side of Carbon being a little bit more aggressive. Let's quickly, I mean, it is 13 minutes in, so net worth wise. And this is just one thing that I have to point out though. The Alchemist is sitting on lead net worth. That's true, but not by as much as I would think. Only by 100 up against the Silencer. This Silencer does have a Hand of Midas up. What's actually coming? It's a Vitality booster, so we'll most likely be seeing Silencer going into a Rod of Atos, Rod of Aoi.
Yeah, it probably is the case. It's pretty useful for him because he does suffer from having low HP early on. You know, it's weird. I actually think that kind of bodes a little bit well for Bravado because hold on, there's smoke gang coming in top lane. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens here first.
Or he actually gets scouted out. Chosen One is right here. They do know there's blue pings coming out. That is actually from, well, they're actually speeding up Raping Ninja. Is he going to be able to get onto Spacker? They are going straight onto him. He does have a global silence if he wants to use it, and they are going to try and turn around. Is there anything else? No, there's actually global silence is being used, but unfortunately Chosen One not getting the dual victory right there. Is there any kind of further engagement? Bravado still want to go in. They want to go in, and it is actually Yule Scepter up on the Queen of Pain. They want to go into Scan. Scan does get a 3-man fissure coming off, and he's just being healed up straight away. Bravado will disengage. A messy engagement once again coming from them. Let's have a look and see. Carbon, I think, wants to try and re-engage. Clockwork does have his hook shot. Let's try and focus on Clockwork as he zips in.
Top tower is under attack.
Clockwork gonna go in. Like clicking on him, aren't you? Move quickly.
Oh, you thought about it. Almost.
Oh, on the creep. Okay, once again. But your Clockwork is not on point tonight. The ping's coming out. It's just, I mean, that is seriously just fatigue, jumping in there. They could have, I mean, he's been playing now for a couple of hours. Raping Ninja might be engaged upon here. He is in his ultimate form. Dreamy dropping his ultimate. Is Raping Ninja going to drop? Unfortunately not. Queen of Pain comes in. The Echo Slam from Scat not really doing that much, and that's 2 heroes down already for Carbon. Ferrari, he still has his ultimate. He's trying to he's just going to run and seem manages to get that kill. That's a huge engagement for the side of Bravado. 1,000 gold swing.
Yeah, could be turned around though. There we go. Nice. In fact, just a reincarnation gonna pop here, but Chosen One has shown that he's pretty aggressive. I gotta say, Laka is a better player than that though. Like, it's a bit unfair to sort of rest the entire fight on his head, but tonight with his hook shots, they've been a little bit on off point. So I agree with you. He's probably the fatigue. He's played a lot of Dota tonight, and
today,
it's not like any of the games
from 12. So that's. This is 7 hours continuous Dota play for them with a 15-minute break.
Against the best teams in the country. So we can forgive him for that. However, that said, he needs to hit those hook shots. It's so, I mean, why have a Clockwork if you can't get it right? So hopefully that'll be the one he misses this game.
Well, he has hook shot once again. Any support coming in just to help him try and get Seam here. Seam. Oh, no, he's just going to show his face and try and just force Seam back. There are 2 support Scant and, of course, Smacker. Well, not support, but Silencer coming in here bottom. Silencer, I mean, Silencer sitting at 900. Well, actually, hold on quickly. Seam is out farming an Alchemist. That's why I wasn't the biggest fan
Seam,
of
right?
them leaving the Alchemist, leaving the bounty runes. I mean, that is 500 gold. You can get 500 gold every 2 minutes for free on an Alch. And it doesn't seem like they're actually utilizing it. I was watching one of Burning's pub games where he actually went when he actually went with the Alchemist. And that was before the buff on the Alchemist's greed. And he just, I mean, I think it was at 30 minutes in, he was 6 slots in, as in with not average items. I'm talking about with Mjolnir, with Abyssal, and he also had a Moonshot as well eaten at 30 minutes in. And he got every single bounty rune. His team, he had 3 people watching the bounty runes for him.
Well, I guess that's a pretty handy way of finding farm, right? But all the same, I think it's kind of a good thing. I wanted to go there earlier that the Alchemist isn't the reason that Bravado are ahead. Alchemist, sort of traditionally, he's like scary because he gets so much gold. But he actually seems to do, hold on, top lane, you see engaging here onto Ferrari, and there's a Skyreth ulti as well, trying to seal the deal here, and he will pick up the winner as you see a lot of victories in the past for Chosen One. He'll be hoping to...
That's only the 2nd win so far for him, but he'll be very happy with that, slowly but surely increasing his damage. And Scant, 1,200, still working his way towards that Blink Dagger. Chosen One, what's actually flying in? It was going to be a full Blade Mail up for Chosen One. Smack up. Nearly has the lot of 8 tasks completed on the Silencer, but we do see a full rotation coming through here from Bravado. They will want to try and engage, and Raping Ninja does have a Shadow Blade. He's actually using a Shadow Blade, being surged in, but they're backing off. Are they going to actually be able to catch anyone? No, well, Raping Ninja does manage to throw it off straight onto Smacker, and, well, they are going to try and actually get this kill in. Raping Ninja's leading the front lines, and here comes Team actually going straight onto the Silencer. Silencer does not have his global silence right now, but another winner coming through from the side of Legion Commander. Raping Ninja just busy cleaving, his way to victory right there. 2 heroes down for both teams, and Raping Ninja once more. He's actually throwing down his acid spray, busy charging up his stun, and I think this might be Dreamy dead as well. Well, good stun coming through from Scant, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. So a 3-for-2 trade-off, not completely horrible.
Well, actually, I mean, it's, believe it or not, is a slight gold swing towards Carbon. But
I saw.
yeah, it's obviously just because they got series already quite farmed up. But there was also the experience game, so still advantage to Bravado, and they're also even going to pick up this tier 1 tower eventually.
Eventually.
Tower has fallen.
But I think Carbon are certainly, I mean, I wouldn't be too worried if I was him. But once again, Alchemist isn't, like, what he does with items isn't as impressive as what the potential heroes can do with items. He needs a lot of them, that's sort of how he functions. So the fact that they're 5k behind is, notable. However, I don't think it's a case where Carbon will be too horrified by this experience. I think they'll still feel that they're able to compete in this matchup. And also they have some pretty solid decks in Legion Command, although it's not a sort of traditional hard carry in the sense that, the other heroes that are picked up more commonly. It's certainly capable of dealing quite a lot of punishment, and yes, I'm going to go there, is potentially one of those heroes that can become, unequivocally overpowered by picking up enough duel victories.
Yeah, no, definitely. So let's quickly have a look. One of the guys just told me it's actually only on the first bounty that Alchemist gets so much gold. So I'm just trying to verify that on my end quickly. Because I do know Alchemist does get a little bit of a buff, and if it's only on the first minute bounty, then I do apologize because I did hammer on that one as well. But I do know, for example, on the game that I was watching at Burning, that they did, secure him the ruins every single time, maybe just to try and help him farm. How about if you guys continue on talking? I'm trying to verify that and see what's happening.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, well, we do have at the moment Bravado are sort of encircling the side of Carbon's jungle. Obviously, just trying to remove some of the opportunity for Carbon to farm safely, but it actually appears that the bottom push is actually the intent from Carbon at the moment, and this is completely undefended, so there's a possibility they may actually pick up the tie with a little aggression coming out from the side of Bravado. They are in fact still heading towards the middle lane though.
Yeah, no. And I've confirmed it is the 500 for the first bounty, but it's still an increase on a single other bounty after that. But we do see an engagement here onto Chosen One. Is the curse actually going to come down? No, they're just blowing everything on him. That is one hero down for the side of Carbon. Bravado's just going to push on after this. So the guys on chat, you guys were right. It's 500 only for the first one, but it's still more. He still gets 5 times the bounty gold for every single rune after that. So suck it. I know. I'm like the only guy that will ever take on Hitbox chat or Twitch chat. I will lose horribly, but I'll still be smart.
We get it a lot as casters. May as well give it back every now and then. But yeah, as for this game though, it is quite well poised at the moment. Bravado looking in a solid position now, getting to about 7.5k goal advantage. Having a pretty good time of it. But Carbon, don't count them out just yet. I think they've actually played a lot better in these past 2 matches than the first one. And they'll be really keen to change things around here.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now we do see the engagements coming through here from the side of Carbon. They want to go in. Unfortunately, the hookshot once again not really latching onto anyone, but the battery assault is there. Global silence was used, so Raping Ninja is, well, big vacuum wall, only catching 2. Unfortunately, the Alchemist was, stunned up by his own stun due to the silence. Now they're going on, and LKR unfortunately can't do anything. Big echo slam coming through from Scan, actually using that blink. Now, well, it might just be another kill going the way of Legion Commander here. Is it going to be? No. Fortunately not. They are going to, he's going to be able to blink out. No, taking too long on that one. Legion Commander now, however, is going up against Raping Ninja solo, and Ferrari's just going to be able to stun him and crit him to death. The buyback is there from the Skyrath Mage, but it's not going to be enough. Dan coming in with what an echo slam. Unfortunately, just not enough.
Yeah, it was a beautiful echo slam, gotta be said. However, not enough, and they actually do get the buyback, and I don't know if they're going to get a huge amount out of this buyback, actually. Maybe it's just to try to convince Bravado that they don't want to go up to the tier 3.
I love
But-
Bravado. They're like standing right here saying, what? It's like
Has fallen.
Have,
the
have you
confidence.
seen?
I don't know if it's confidence or arrogance.
You know what? Actually, I would just say confidence. Bravado actually, I've had the fortune of meeting them all in person. A nice bunch of guys, actually. So,
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, I would call playful though. So there could be a little bit of that in there.
So it's a little bit more troll.
Yeah,
example, like-
light-hearted.
Like, you know, Ferrari leaving one creep here, leaving only small creeps here. You know, just like standard things that you do in pubs to try and piss off the enemy team a little bit.
Hey, it's viable strategy. I mean, in fact, even leaving those little shard golems up means they will just expire naturally after soaking up a nice spawn. And it certainly is frustrating as a potential farmer when you arrive and you see an individual Sapphire Banisher waiting to give you his 9 gold.
No, definitely. Let's quickly have a look at the gold graph right now, though. Sitting at 12,000 in the favor of Bravado. Oh wait, hold on. On that note, we might see the games that are on the bottom lane. They're trying to go onto Raping Ninja right now. He's already cast his ultimate though, and the Yule Scepter was used onto Smacker. This means there's no global silence coming through from them. Is there going to be any kind of counter engagement? There's only 2 heroes here from the side of Bravado. Team is there. He does have a Scream of Pain if he wants to go on it. Of course, Habibi has. Can he actually get out of this? No, he's trapped.
I think he's happy to be trapped there, though. He was amongst many unfriendly Carbon players. Oh, and we do
there's
see
the hook shot
Raping
going
Ninja-
straight onto Alchemist right now. The dust is actually being used. Now it is the dual straight onto Alchemist, but it should be okay. Alchemist is Glimmer caped up. He's also, there's the vacuum, there's the wall. Big kill coming through from the dark, from the dark here. They're actually just trying to kill everyone right now. Smacker might just go down. That was very good fissure block coming through. Unfortunately, it's just not enough to be able to kill the side of Bravado, and Dream is busy running for his life. That's another 3 heroes down. What looked like to be a perfect engagement for Carbon, but without the silent ultimate.
Bottom tower
Yeah, this is kind of what I expect Bravado to play like, though, where they start making trades and they always trade up, and then eventually comes the point where they're no longer trades. And they're pretty much all up and running now. They've got the top 2 in the net worth. It is the Queen of Pain and the Alchemist. And the Silencer has done a fair job at keeping up with that, but bear in mind that he is also expending a lot of that cash into the Midas itself. And then it's followed by the Darkseer and the Wraith King. So, you know, pretty much exactly where you want to be as a team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And
fortunately
going straight
for-
into Rush right now.
Yeah, they already scouted out though. I mean, hey, it's as good a time as any, right? If you get everybody back up in line in time, but Rishon is getting a little bit of a thumping here.
Yeah, and I mean, the minus armor from the Solar Crest was nerfed quite significantly, but of course you do have the acid spread that's also going to help out. Are we going to see a full-on engagement here? There might be a hookshot coming through from Laka. Is he actually going to go for this one? No, the blink from Ferrari actually stopping Laka from trying to steal this one. What a play coming through, and LKR might actually just drop. I mean, he was in the perfect position. Meanwhile, though, they do actually drop the Mystic Flare. The duel is onto Donnie, and C1 actually does manage to get that one. Now they're trying to go into Raping Ninja, but here comes Seam, actually get a huge Sonic whip off, and I'm like just trying to still follow what's happening. Dream is going to be the next one to die, but still Chosen actually does get stunned. He doesn't disjoint. Stun from the Alchemist. Meanwhile, Scan comes in, gets a very good stun off. Oh my word, everything's just going wrong for Carbon. The fights is all over the place, and well, you see, there it is. Let's quickly have a look how much gold. That's 500 gold going the way of Alchemist.
You're very
To
happy
that
about
bounty.
that, aren't
Sorry.
you?
No, of course. I'm just like, oh yeah.
So-
500 gold for the bounty run. We
If I'm
won,
not
we
wrong
checked.
about this, it's
Check.
5 times the amount of the.
It's 5 times the amount of the bounty, but remember bounty
Yeah.
rune, there's a
And the
difference between
increase
the
in
first
value.
bounty that you pick up and the bounties as the game progresses.
Perhaps it could be more at some stage.
Oh, I think it increases as the time goes along. That's what the Twitch guys are saying. That part I do not know about.
Yeah, no, it does increase as the game progresses. So potentially, if you had a really long game, I'm not sure if there's a limit, so it could be huge. But yeah, it does look like Carbon are going to lose their first hero. Really good
hold on
Echo
that
Slam from
note.
Scan.
Scan comes in with a huge Echo Slam as well as a hook shot coming from LKR. That's 3 heroes down. Of course, the Queen of Pain as well. Queen of Pain is also going to drop. This is big for them. That's the Alchemist instant pop. They are going on to for Sorry, but the vacuum wall, 4 heroes being caught down. Smacker's gonna be instantly dead. That's a triple kill for Donny. One of the best vacuum walls I've ever seen in my life coming through from him. And oh my word, once again, Carbon just going in, got the perfect engagement, and then there's Donny. Donny gets caught out now. It's just like, well, Donny, bye, buddy. You are, well, not dead yet. Now you're dead. Don't manage to get the melee barracks, and it's just going to be regenning up right now. Carbon, they're still alive for the moment.
Yeah, I think the big thing there as well is they actually managed to keep their melee barracks alive and get that fight. So I think all in all, they'll be quite happy with that experience. But what a symphony of skills from several players in this little tussle. I mean, Scant's Echo Slam was absolutely sublime. And then, as you mentioned, Donny came in with a fight that looked like it was all Carbon. Came in with a, I mean, it was just the perfect vacuum into a wall. It dealt a crazy amount of damage.
Yeah. And to be honest, Smacker carrying the silencer, I'm not as happy with you know, this type of silencer, you know, with the red, you know, what the Rod of Atos silencer, as I was with the Shadow Blade going into Refresher, you know, type of Sight of Ice. Well, I think he's going into Sight of Ice now, but this silencer is just not pulling his weight, it seems to be. I mean, he's doing a lot of damage. It's 20 intel that's been stolen, and I mean, every time he uses the Global Silence, it's a perfect engagement for them. But as soon as the Global Silence is done, Bravado just counter-engage, and it's not, of course, due to Smacker. It's just, it's very difficult for him to actually play as that carry role. Hold on, we might see engagement here onto, oh! The chosen one blinking from here to here and attacking the creep. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the game is still available to Carbon to take. I think BVD still have themselves in quite a good position here, though. I think that, you know, the big concern there for Bravado is when they tried to go up the high ground there, they actually lost the Aegis in that fight as well. So they really did get pretty much dominated in that experience. So even with the Aegis available, and they weren't able to go high ground just yet. And I'm interested to see how they react to that. If they're going to say, okay, well, let's wait at the next Roshan, find a little bit of farm. I do think they don't want to leave this too late. Obviously, we mentioned the way that these heroes on the side of Carbon do scale, but you know, they're not like in any dire. I don't think there's a particular timing window. It's more a case of a, you know, let's make sure we don't lose out on our gold advantage and get to a point where perhaps you know, they're not as relevant as it is later on.
Definitely a full Silver's Edge up here on the Alchemist, so that is going to help them out quite a bit. He is actually going to stun himself.
There's an unstable concoction, you know. Let's
Very
stun
unstable
ourselves sometimes.
concoction in Raping Ninja's hands.
You know what's crazy? I mean, to me, Raping Ninja has been involved in pretty much every fight and has been very active. He's only actually managed to get kills. So I imagine he might be a little bit frustrated by that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's two kills, 21 assists. So he's been part of 23 out of the 29 kills. That is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, he's certainly been fighting for this this win. Unfortunately, I guess for him, so is Carbon. I mean, they're it just doesn't seem like they're 15,000 gold behind, but does it really feel like? I mean, they feel like they're behind, but they're not just getting rolled over like you'd often expect at this point in the game. They're actually putting up a huge fight, and it's on the back of some really good players. But I do sort of feel that if Carbon lose a big team fight, they've probably lost it, just because the pushing power of Bravado at that point will just be too strong.
And take a guess what Wraith King's building towards without looking at him. Without looking at him.
I'm thinking maybe Rapier, but like that's only because you're saying it like it's a build, but...
I think it's going to be a Radiance and no, not a Rapier. But the Sacred Relic is up.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Donny in a Wall of Troll that actually gets the wall off before he dies, but will get become the victim of the 619 previous victims of Chosen One.
84 dual victory damage at this point. On the... I mean, on the Legion Commander, that's quite a lot, because this means she's putting out currently 200 damage a shot, and whenever there's a moment of courage, a counter attack, it's gonna deal quite a bit of damage. 200 damage a shot. She's still quite squishy though.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, she gets caught out by a lot of burst damage, which is available to the side of Bravado. She could be in trouble. But as you mentioned, she's really, really hurting. And I gotta say, Chosen has played he's played a really solid game. Seems to have been involved quite heavily, although, you know, the score doesn't show it in the sense that they have only picked up 8 and killed themselves, but he's been fighting hard. And specifically, I just got to say, like, he's showing a great example of how to use press the attack. One example stands up in mind is very early on in the game where Scant got stunned up and he immediately was free. He was just, oh, was I stunned? And he managed to get up a 4-man Fisher from that effect.
Rush will know when Rush is up in around 45 seconds, and I think both the teams will want to try and contest this, because if Rush actually does go the way of Bravado, I think the game is done. But if Rush actually goes the way of Carbon Gaming, I think they're, you know, back in it. Now remember, a lot of this gold advantage is going the way of the Alchemist. So Alchemist needs a lot more to actually deal the same amount as, let's say, Legion Commander. So there's a 4,000 or 5,000 gold difference between Chosen and the Alch. But I just feel like Chosen is doing basically the same amount, if not more, than the Alchemist at this point. And that is where a lot of that gold advantage is going towards.
Yeah, and he can't get too much stronger. I mean, he could obviously buy a full out. Sort of imagine this is the heart he's going for here with the Reaver.
Most likely the heart, and then into the abyssal, and then that's that.
Yeah. I mean, that as you say is that. I mean, you can swap out the power trades for like travel, but you obviously lose attack with that anyway.
Hold on. He can get a lot stronger. He can buy Aghanim Scepters for everyone in his team.
That is a fair comment. I mean, he can make everybody else stronger, but I think there's already Ags up on the Queen of Pain, so she won't mind too much. But your Wraith King would love it.
Wraith King Ags, Winter Wyvern, sort of Ags upgrade, but still, a Wraith King Ags is actually a big option.
Yeah, that's certainly an interesting prospect. I mean, I remember having a conversation with some of the guys previously when Alchemist first got that buff of like, is it possible to abuse this? I think if the game goes this long and then you can buy everybody Ags, I mean, yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it. Unfortunately, I mean, in one way it's actually quite nice because it does open up a slot for the Queen of Pain as well, so I guess you could also get it. And you can farm that money pretty quickly on an Alch.
Now, the Wraith King Ags upgrade was buffed. So your reincarnation on Aghanim Scepter allied death delay increased from 5 to 7 seconds.
I've yet to see that be useful.
I actually did see it. It was one of the CIS games where they actually used it, and it did quite a lot. Hold on, Team has a Lincoln Sphere, and instantly the duel was cancelled. Now the silence is up. Are they actually going to be able to get anything? The Darkshire War was up onto no one at this point. Svaka, LKR. No one's actually done anything. Radiant's courier has just been killed, and unfortunately, Svaka, well, buddy, you are dead.
Kind of felt like nobody knew what was going on there.
With nothing. Sorry?
I think what happened there was Bravado were not expecting that engagement, and Carbon were expecting it to go differently, and then everyone was sort of like, oh, well, this is not what we expected that would happen. Yeah, it's just, oh, okay, well, yeah. And Laka being cheeky. Trying to defend his right. I mean, they do have a little bit of window with the silencer down. Does he have buyback? He does have buyback. Probably gonna have to use it here. In fact, they're gonna lose the Ranger Axe without him coming back.
I think they'll only use it if they do decide to press the second lane. But Rosh is up, so I won't be surprised if they just go for this and then go straight into Rosh, which will give Silence at least the advantage. Well, you know, Silencer won't actually have to buy back after this. Are they moving towards Rosh? Seems like they are. Yes. Or raping ninjas.
I'm really surprised they didn't try to defend that at all. I mean, they just cool. It's down.
The problem is if you try and defend this and you die, then you've lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. However, that is a pretty important objective, and now Roshan is still on the cards here. Laka gonna scout all out. Nobody really in a position to defend this. Streamy up on the top lane. Maybe Laka can try and poach it. I guess he can be cheeky. Fisher comes through from Scant, buying a little bit of time here, but it will be the end of Roche any second. Now, there it is. And it goes toward the Queen of Pain, who's now a rock again.
Oh, let's have a look here. I mean, 30 to 18, looking at the gold graph, over 20,000. The old Chinese guys would say, okay, now you break high ground. As soon as you hit that 20,000 mark, that's the only time you break high ground. You farm until you hit 20k. That's the old Chinese method, but very old Chinese. TRG.
There may be often unnecessary. However, I think in this game it's probably about spot on.
Well, they're going to be pushing out you on the bottom lane. Can Carbon do anything about this?
Well, I mean, it's time to throw the kitchen sink in it, right? I mean, if you lose this tier, if you lose these set of racks, it's pretty much the game. They just find it so difficult to ever come back from, you know, the pushing power of those creeps. I mean, obviously they can just bat them off, but you know, for the side Bravado, it's become so much easier. Do you see
There's the engagement going straight in onto Smacker right now. Smacker, of course, does still have his global silence. He does have a buyback as well, if need be. They're trying to engage. They're trying to go to someone. Scans is waiting for that perfect Echo Slam. But just look at the type of damage Ferrari is doing onto everyone. There's the global silence. Are they going to actually be able to do anything? Well, there's, you know, Chosen One going in. And that would be the perfect time for an Earthshaker slam. But unfortunately, there's no dunks. There's nothing coming through from anyone. The buybacks are being used. And are they going to be able to actually defend up against this? They have to try and do something. Well, no, it's just going to be Ferrari going straight in onto Scans. He crits him, one-shot dead. Seam actually, I don't think landed didn't hit anyone there with that Scream of Pain. And that is the wall vacuum combo being used as well. I think that is just GG. But a bit of anticlimactic, but just Ferrari jumping in the whole time, just doing, you know, he's just in there. And yeah, they're just all diving right now.
Well, I think they're feeling confident about this game. If we remind them that this is a grand final, so we don't want to charge fountains. But it does look like this is probably the end of it.
Yeah. So good games coming through, guys. I would like to say congratulations to the side of Bravado for winning the first Gigabyte or South African Gigabyte Dota 2 challenge. Congratulations to the winners. That's $1,000 in cold hard cash that's going to be coming to them sometime within the course of the next week or two, depending on how long international transfers take. And of course, Carbon doing tremendously well as well. They will be getting 600 gold. Oh, $600. And of course, WRG getting 400. I mean, this is only the first of many tournaments that will be up and coming here, guys. So I hope, well, there's an Echo Slam coming from Scat. They call GG. Now, please remember, in my rules, it does state GG does not mean you win. You have to wait for the throne to expire or to get destroyed. So Carbon being very cheeky right there. And yeah, once again, congratulations to Bravado, the winners of the first Dav TV Gigabyte Dota 2 challenge. There will be more, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, stick around. It's been an amazing series, amazing tournament. Big shout out to Gigabyte for their part in this. And congratulations to Bravado Emotion, showing us once again why they are so on the side.
Yeah, I mean, any final thoughts from your side, Halbert?
I think this bodes really well. Just, I mean, obviously, once again, Bravado doing exceptionally as we sort of come to expect. But also, I think there's been a lot of teams that have put up their hands now. Specifically, I'd look at the likes of Noob, who, you know, kind of a bit of a I'd say dark horse. It's a little unfair, but certainly were a side that was, you know, they're the fourth seed. Can they sort of compete against the likes of Energy and Carbon? And they actually were able to, you know, come all the way to the point where they almost beat both. So they obviously did a great job. And I think, you know, the way all the sides are playing bodes really well. So congratulations to everyone involved, and it's been a pleasure bringing it to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And guys, on that note, congratulations once again to Bravado. Thanks so much to Gigabyte for sponsoring this event, $2,000 in cash. Dota 2 Lounge for listing the games. Join Dota, Goes to Gamers, everyone else listing the games. Thanks to all of the casters, Rusty, shout out to him. I just quickly want to go through a lot of them. Volley Zede, Harry, Puza, there was just so many casters involved, Prophecy especially, Reigns that was casting with Prophecy as well to start off with. I'm just trying to think of all the names here.
It leaves to be out, you'll be in trouble.
I think that's it's save the best for last with Knoxville there. He did cost I think only one game, but it's still there. Thanks to everyone involved from Nav TV, Offset. Thanks to Crimson, of course, for running these streams constantly every single night and every single day that we've been casting. Thanks so much for everyone. We will see you guys soon. On that note, I'm going to go and sleep for the next week. Cheers, guys. Oh, I'm Reddit. Joining me was Halberd. Check us out, navtv.co.za, facebook.com/HalberdZA, and facebook.com/Reddit Dota, facebook.com/NavGamingTV. Peace out, guys. Cheers.
got a question. If you'd hear me out, in your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake, that we are closer than we're far. Embrace for impact, fight your fears fire. Embrace for impact, I'm the future's engineer. And baby, I'm here, I'm here, and baby, I'm here, baby, I'm here. And baby, I'm here. And baby, I'm here. I've got a question. If you'd hear me out, in your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake,